Hello, everyone. Welcome in for the 2025 Discord Webcam year-end Canadian Highlander event. I'm Jer, and I'm joined in the booth by my good buddy Trent.
Hello and welcome.
Welcome everyone to the stream. We hope you enjoy your stay. We'll give you a quick rundown of how these events happened. We have two brackets, the async bracket and the weekly bracket, representing the two types of events that are run in the Discord. There's monthly async events that, as you may guess, are run asynchronously. So if you can't commit to a sort of one-shot 3 or 4 hour event, you can get the matches in when you can. And then the weekly bracket, which is run as your typical Swiss event with a potential top cut. The Discord also runs events for Cockatrice and MTGO in various shapes and forms. They're all 100% free to play and, when necessary, proxy friendly. So very accessible events, great to sort of cut your teeth on the format, test new decks, or try to, crush your opponents and win, whatever your cup of tea may be. Yeah.
I love these events, Jer. I think they're
Me
really
too.
cool. We've participated in specifically the MTGO asynchronous events for the last couple of months, and they've been like such a great way to play some extra Magic. So yeah, I love that. Shout out to everyone who helps organize these events as well. The Discord community really comes out in the clutch when it comes to organizing these things and having them be really well run from my perspective, at least for the MTGO asyncs we've been a part of. Like, I've been really happy with like how they've been organized and handled in general. Like, submitting your match information is easy. Like, it's great. If you've been thinking about, like, I need to play a little more Highlander, the Discord is definitely the place to do it in whatever way you want to play. I like that we have webcam tournaments too, because MTGO is great, but something about just shuffling the cards in your hands, drawing the card from the top of your deck, I don't know, nothing really beats it, Jer.
For sure. Well, up first we have the async bracket match. We have Rhaegorn on Time Vault and Uga Blast on Boros Taxes. What do you think of Rhaegorn's Bant Vault list, Trent?
This Bant Vault list, I like it a lot. It looks to me, and we were talking about this before the stream, it looks to me like Rhaegorn pecked this list specifically against blue mid-range decks or blue control decks.
And combo to some extent too.
Definitely. You see things like Flusterstorm is kind of a big
Grafdigger's Cage. Great role player in the deck.
I'm loving Cage more recently, so I like the inclusion of Cage as well. But you pointed this out, so I wanted to give you the credit here. No lands package. There's like a small, like I can find these lands package, crop rotation, Sylvan Scrying. But you're going to play those cards anyways because you really want to get your Tolarian Academy. Sometimes you really want to get your Mistrized Village or your Manamo. But we traditionally see a lot of Bant Time Vault players playing a full lands package that involves fast spawn, being able to either strip mine your opponent or wasteland your opponent out, etc. I'm curious what you think about excluding the lands package here, since you pointed it out.
I think maybe it's sort of like a counter hedge, considering they teched their spells for blue and combo. Maybe they didn't sort of want to double down because the lands package is typically at its best against the blue and combo decks. So maybe they felt they didn't need to also include the lands package and wanted to streamline the rest of their deck a little bit more. It's also maybe they felt like the lands package sort of took up too many slots, that if they wanted the tech cards like Grafdigger's Cage, Flusterstorm, those types of things, they couldn't find room for both the lands package and those sort of key spells that they wanted to include. The other inclusion or lack of inclusion that's might be relevant for this matchup is no Wrath effect, which you sometimes see from these decks, sometimes maybe balance, maybe something else, and no Ensnaring Bridge. Likely because they were expecting blue decks and combo decks, and it's worth noting they beat Grixis, Tempo, and 4-color Control on their way, so they correctly predicted blue decks, and their deck was set up for the blue decks, and clearly get everything going according to plan. But it would be interesting to see how they fare against a white-red aggressive deck. So cards like Flusterstorm, cards like Grafdigger's Cage, cards like Soul Guide Lantern, really almost dead draws in this matchup.
Yeah, not exactly where you want to be, but you find often in these tournaments that players will play to their pod the first couple of matches that they could have, and then they'll worry about it later, basically. Which I guess we're at the point where Rigorn has to worry about it later because they're playing against this deck by Uga Blast, Boros Taxes, very popular archetype. Boros is a great deck, has a lot of pressure mixed in with good disruptive creatures. What do you think about this Boros list in particular, Jer?
I think it's pretty standard. The only thing I would point out as being kind of spicy is there's Enlightened Tutor and an Enlightened Tutor package. They have Rest in Peace, which probably not especially useful in this matchup. But they also have Static Prison, which is great for exiling a key artifact. Blood Moon, Touch the Spirit Realm is really interesting because it's able to hit artifacts and potentially at instant speed in an uncounterable fashion. They do have a lot of removal spells and not a lot of deck manipulation, so it is possible they run into the sort of draw the cards that aren't for this matchup problem. But I think their deck is set up pretty well to like enact a very proactive game plan, which is really what Boros wants to do.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be pretty key that Uga mulligans to hands that have a decent amount of pressure. You really need to pressure Time Vault to force them into lines that are maybe a little riskier or a little harder to hit. It is worth noting that Rest in Peace, well, not perfect against this Time Vault deck. It shuts off things like Shifting Woodland, etc. So there are some. It has some applications.
It's not a card you want to draw.
No, definitely not. And the removal, it's not great, but it's a little better than it has been previously. Sometimes you just need to kill a Quantum Riddler or a Bright Glass Gearhulk that's going to be blocking your creatures, or a Wan Shi Tong, etc. So it's definitely not like removal is as dead as it was in the previous Time Vault of the past era, where they basically weren't playing any creatures.
Yeah, Trinket Mage and Snapcaster.
yeah.
Well, I think it's about time to let's see if our players are ready and hop into the first match. Once again, it's the Async bracket finals, Rigorn versus Uga. And I believe Rigorn has choice of play draw because they're the first seed, Uga the second seed. So Uga has had play draw coming into this match for all their matches, but running into the first seed here. So
yeah. So I want to quickly, while our players are shuffling up here, talk about our players sort of like in terms of the weeklies, etc. Rigorn is known for playing Time Vault. Very prolific Time Vault deck builder, has over 150 versions brewed. And then Uga is actually known to just be a player that plays a wide variety of decks. So it's pretty interesting to see from our perspective Uga decided that of the decks that they could play, they felt like Boros was the best choice for both their bracket, but also for the tournament at large. And Regorn, being a prolific Time Vault player and brewer, has decided that this particular version of Time Vault was what they wanted to play. So I think when you look at what these players were anticipating, you can learn a lot about shorter tournaments from their deck choices or their deck builds. And we talked about that earlier with Regorn choosing to play things like Flusterstorm, etc., teching against blue and combo decks specifically. Whereas if Regorn was in a longer tournament, you might see them not play those cards to hedge against potentially playing against more creature decks, etc. And then I find it interesting that Uga chose to play Boros Taxes instead of something like Paradox Academy, or they've recently won with Rakdos Madness as well. And it looks like Uga's taking a mulligan to 6 and Regorn's keeping a 7.
Yeah. So we'll see if they're able to find a keepable hand on 6 here. Mulliganing once isn't too bad. Mulliganing a second time starts getting into rough territory. It looks like they're keeping this one, and we're going to be off.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Uga, you kind of have to mulligan more aggressively anyways, like we talked about, just removal spells, etc. Regorn's going to play a Flooded Strand here and just pass the turn.
So that's good for Uga. No sort of development of any kind. Not a fast mana vault start or anything. So
yeah, and it looks like Uga's going to play a Sandstone, or not a Sandstone Needle, sorry, a Remote Farm, which is a depletion land.
Yeah.
So the depletion lands, if you don't know them, for the viewer, they come in with 2 counters, and when you tap them, they produce double of whatever color they tap for. So Remote Farm is the white depletion land. So on the next turn, Uga's going to have access to 3 mana. And these depletion lands are a pretty interesting like addition to the Boros deck. A lot of the time you want to get to 3 mana because a lot of your really impactful cards are 3s. So I think that's pretty cool. So Regorn getting Lush Portico, I'm curious here, what do you think that tells Uga from their side of the table?
Definitely tells you they have at least one other land in hand, because they wouldn't forgo blue mana. Blue is the most important color for Time Vault. So you know they have at least one other land that produces blue. Like, assuredly, that's guaranteed.
Looks like Regorn chooses to keep on top.
Yeah, they surveilled on top, which is a little spooky because they kept a 7, then surveilled to the top, got Mysterized Village.
Coming in untapped because the Lush Portico is a forest.
Yeah. Grim Monolith. All right. So there's the sort of big acceleration piece.
Oh, wow. And Regorn is popping out playing. Oh, so yeah, Voltaic Keys.
2 floating. So they have access to 5 mana. So if they have Vault Key here, it's all over. Just passes. So it looks like they probably need at least a tutor or something to find what they need, which is Time Vault. They already have the key in play. It'll be interesting to see what Uga is able to develop here on the
from my perspective, it seems like this is going to be a really critical turn 2 for Uga.
Yeah, no red mana,
which may or may not be super relevant here. Looks like they're playing a.
Don't recognize the art.
I'll take a look at the decks.
Oh, it was Clarion Conqueror, but it beats a Force of Will.
What did the Force of Will exile here?
Looks like we're Spell Snare.
And I mean, from Regorn's perspective, do you think he has to Force of Will the Clarion Conqueror?
Absolutely, yeah. When you have Grim Monolith Key and you're 1 tutor away from winning. Go floating 2.
Yeah,
so it's actually probably a relief for Uga, honestly. Like,
Oko's beatable.
Yeah, you're almost any tutor wins the game there for Regorn, so you're just super happy to not have to lose immediately here.
Yeah, so it looks like Regorn makes a food and then plays a Caracas.
Yeah. We'll see if that becomes relevant. Uga really needs a strong follow-up here again.
Yeah, so the downside to these depletion lands is once you've used the 2 counters, they go away. The land just goes straight to the graveyard. So another critical turn here for Uga. Gonna have to see what they decide to play with their last counter on the depletion land, if they decide to spend it at all.
Yeah, but like I would guess Uga wasn't land rich based on the sequencing of their lands. They have a Sun-Baked Canyon here.
So access to red mana here.
And they do have some 4s in their list.
They also have a lot of cards in their hand currently, so I guess we'll have to see. Looks like an Elite Spellbinder is coming down for Uga, getting rid of the depletion land.
Ponder. Okay, well, making him pay 3 for the Ponder isn't too bad.
Yeah, and the Spellbinder is
having flying is pretty nice because it's able to actually pressure the Oko.
Totally.
And it's not legendary.
Although unfortunately 3 damage, as we've learned in the past, doesn't really keep up with Oko a lot of the time. You need like 5 damage a turn.
But it looks like we've sort of settled into a little bit of a holding pattern here. Interesting. Rigorn giving the Grim Monolith over to Uga for the Elite Spellbinder.
Yeah, I don't hate this from Rigorn's perspective. The Grim Monolith, especially depending on what you drew, doesn't seem to be particularly relevant for you. And I guess you get to give your opponent a tapped Grim Monolith, right? So that it's not like Uga is going to have a lot of time or space to untap this monolith. Now, if you're Uga, are you concerned that Rigorn hasn't cast the Ponder yet? Like, what are you thinking?
Not really. I mean, you knew they didn't have a whole lot going on. Casting 3 mana Ponder as the only thing for your turn isn't like super exciting. I'm a little surprised Rigorn gave the Grim Monolith instead of the food token because they already have that key in play, and having Grim Monolith enables something like Wargate to just end the game. So that's kind of an interesting choice from my perspective, is that it turns off some of the cards that would have been game winning. And like I don't think giving Uga food in this case is super relevant. Yeah, so they find another fetch, likely to just go get the last Surveil land, I would expect.
What do you think about fetching here before casting Ponder? Do you think it's better or worse?
I think if you have literally nothing else, fetching first is better. But it looks like maybe they're getting Tundra and opting to hold up the Caracas.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I guess if you might value just having the Caracas activation up.
Yeah, like I definitely would have just gone and got Meticulous Archive. I'm assuming it's in the deck. It is. Yeah. So, but really valuing, look like preserving their life total here. Even though they're in kind of I would say Rigorn's in a pretty commanding position at this point. They have a creature, they have an Oko, they have half the combo on board. Any tutor is live.
Yeah, they have a lot of pressure too. It's not like Uga has a ton of time. Once the Oko starts ticking up to create 3/3s, they're going to be under a lot of stress. Looks like Rigorn's choosing to shuffle off this Ponder.
Makes sense. I would shuffle anything that isn't a direct route to Time Vault at this point.
I think I agree with that because you're already winning, right?
Exactly.
So you might as well find the guaranteed win.
Yeah. When your board is such that Uga needs to deal with the board. Like this board is commanding probably wins in a few turns. And so you just want to start applying pressure from a different axis, which is very difficult for a deck like Boros to deal with.
Yeah, worth noting if you haven't seen Webcam play before, they shuffle, put it into piles of 3, and then the opponent chooses how to put the piles on their deck. That's how you cut in this format. Yeah, so it looks like Rigorn's passing the turn back here.
Yeah, and notably the upside down card is an elite spellbinder. For Rigorn, it was swapped with the Grim Monolith.
Yeah, and that's why the elite spellbinder on Uga's side is facing away from them.
Exactly.
Just some of the logistical challenges of not being right there in the room with your opponent.
Yeah, thievery of any description is a little difficult to do over webcam, but our players,
luckily it doesn't come up that often
well
these days.
Yeah, making it fairly clear for us.
So if you're Uga, what's your best sequence here? Like, what are you really looking to play, draw or play from your deck? Looks like they're taking 3 from a Shatter Skull smashing or some MDFC equivalent and slamming an Archon of Emeria.
That one is not terrible, but at this point, Rigorn's probably not casting much more than 1 card a turn anyways. Like, they have 1 card in hand, random card off a ponder.
Yeah, I guess sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Witch Enchanter, it was the MDFC.
Oh, Witch Enchanter, okay.
That's a little sad, because obviously the Witch Enchanter is a really valuable card in this matchup.
And it looks like we're casting a Prismatic Ending here. From Rigorn's side, targeting the Archon of Emeria, creating an elk token with the food.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting rid of the Witch Enchanter feels really bad.
Elking the food. Yeah, and then we get to crash in for 6. I wonder if they're going to value keeping 1 creature back to avoid a haste attack on the Oko. It's an elk.
Okay. Looks like we're attacking with both.
Getting in for 6. I like this play.
Yeah, I like attacking with both too.
Crack in. Still leaving the Caracas up.
So if you're Rigorn, I guess the Witch Enchanter flipped over tells you that Uga definitely doesn't have any other lands, right?
Almost definitely. Like, to me, it would either be a tapped land, like if they had their Surveil land in hand, maybe. But
what do you think the best play here is from Uga's perspective? Like, the best card to have in hand? I think it might be Broadside Bombardiers.
What does Broadside do?
It kills Oko, and you get to kill a 3/3, so you get to slow down the game.
I guess.
It looks like we're just playing a mountain, I think.
And then Leonin Arbiter. It's a really good card, I think. For the
Arbiter is not the worst here either.
Just a little slow, but because, like, unfortunately, this is a really good card for the matchup, and looks like a Luminarch Aspirant to go alongside it.
Notably, Uga taking a pain damage off the Sunbay Canyon, actually pretty relevant. It means that they can't just take all 3 of these creatures' damage if they wanted to. If the Oko upticks on the key to attack for 9,
force block.
Yeah, so Rigorn will get to decide whether or not he wants to.
Going to 3 is really rough too because of the flyer.
Yeah, the damage from a Sunbay Canyon here seems really, really relevant. Rigorn with 2 cards in hand as well. Last turn cast Prismatic Ending, but didn't play a land. So guess we'll have to see what he's packing. And Uga, I think they have 1 card in hand left over.
Looked like a blue card. I caught a glimpse. Notably, tutors are currently shut off, So attacking without activating Oko.
Do you think you have to block here?
I think you still have to block.
Yeah,
because going to 3 is so bad.
And the Leonin Arbiter, like, I think you're so far behind that you basically have to assume that Rigorn's not going to draw a tutor.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I was mentioning earlier. Like, Uga's under so much pressure, you kind of just have to tunnel vision on the board. You can't imagine Time Vault right now. You just have to sort of pretend it's far away and can't hurt you.
Do you think there's any consideration to chump blocking there so that you can attack with your 3/3 next turn? I guess the Oko is going to go up to 4, so.
Well, yeah, and if you do that, Oko goes up to 4, or they can just make their key a 3/3 post combat, right?
Totally. Looks like Uga drew a card off the Sunbaked Canyon here.
Yeah, it feels like we're kind of in desperation mode at this point.
Yeah, the tough thing here as well is Uga, like, being at 6, can't block the 3/1, the Elite Spellbinder, and it looks like Uga scooped it up, I believe.
Interesting, because they on board they had one more turn.
Yeah, it's possible they looked at their hand and decided that it was going to be pretty hard for them to beat another Elk, plus taking 3 off the Elite Spellbinder. Like, they're going to have to chump block with their Luminarch Aspirant if they didn't have a play.
Yeah, they were definitely in rough shape.
Okay, so tell me about like Time Vault's secondary plans. We've discussed this previously. We think Time Vault is one of the best decks in the format, and I'm curious to hear your take on, like, why that is. And I think I know why, part of why it is, and I think it might be the secondary game plans that Time Vault has access to.
Yeah, and in certain matchups, as we saw there, they can be especially relevant. They get to play a lot of generic interaction, like you saw Force of Will, Spell Snare. Many combo decks don't get to play these types of cards that are just kind of generically good, because they need to devote so many slots towards their combo. One of the biggest advantages of Time Vault is that it's really lean. Like, the only cards you really need are 1 key and a Time Vault. You often play more, like a bunch of the Tezzerets, the second key, Voltaic Servant, so on and so forth, because they're all just like pretty reasonable cards, and it ups the density, easier ways to find them. The other huge boon that Time Vault gets is there are a lot of unpointed tutors for artifacts specifically. Like, Transmute Artifact was pointed for a long time, Fabricate was pointed for a while, Whir of Invention is really powerful. So you get access to a lot of these tutors, so you don't need to spend your points on tutors. Obviously Time Vault is 7 points, but that's one of the reasons why, is because
Yeah,
so many of these tutors are free. But you also get to play things like Urza, which is like a really powerful artifact synergy card, but also just like a pretty good fair card. Like, it makes a huge beater and is a value engine. So like decks like Boros Taxes that aren't flush with removal often have to choose, do I remove the value engine and mana engine, or do I remove the huge beater that's either going to pressure me or kind of stonewall a board? Uro, another similar card that can stonewall a board, buy a bunch of time, gain life. So Quantum Riddler similarly, Bright Glass Gear Hulk. And so they get to play a bunch of really good value cards that either draw cards and increase velocity, or are like there to support the combo as well.
Yeah, I think the addition of Wan Qitong and Quantum Riddler in the last year has been a pretty big boon to Time Vault's overall secondary plans, right? Because because of what you said, the velocity, they redraw, they can win games on their own.
Yeah, as we saw there, like Oko did like 20 Duga. Like, stole the Elite Spellbinder, made a couple Elks, bada bing, bada boom.
So from Uga's perspective, what kind of hands are you looking to keep here, especially now that you're on the play?
On the play, you can afford to keep more proactive hands. You're less required to have disruption. Like, I think on the draw, you're more required to mulligan to something like Clarion Conquer, like Elite Spellbinder. You really want the disruptive elements. But on the play, you just want to enact your proactive game plan as best as possible and sort of do what Rigorn did to Uga in that first game, put them on the back foot and force them to answer the board.
Yeah, and it looks like just a land go from Uga here and a keeping of Surveil off a Lush Portico for Rigorn. Uga not playing anything on turn 2.
So this reeks to me of like Cathar Commando or something of the like.
Yeah,
which a flash creature, which I might have just played to get under counter spells anyways.
Yeah, so it looks like we've got Ophelia here from Uga and end of Rigorn's turn, and Rigorn cast a Sensei's Divining Top.
Mm-hmm.
Uga hitting land drops on time, pretty critical in this matchup. I think you need your third and ideally your fourth land drop into.
Yeah, I feel like you can get away with missing the fourth, but the third feels really important.
Yeah, definitely. Skyclave Apparition from Uga.
Interesting. Gonna target the top, I would assume.
Yeah, this is, I think, kind of exciting from Uga's perspective. Gonna make Rigorn waste another mana on top later on in the game if they don't want to lose it. And then you also have Philia plus Skyclave Apparitions, so any artifacts that Rigorn commits to the board, you're able to
get him out of here.
Get him out of here. Okay, yeah, so it looks like Rigorn reorganized the top 3 and then drew off of top here. And Uga attacking and blinking the Skyclave Apparition. You might as well. You just get a free counter on your Philia at end step.
It's up to 1. I was just checking the wording on Skyclave.
Yeah, you don't have to exile.
Are we in a situation where the doggy's going to jail? But no.
Also, notably, this is a best of 3 finals, so Uga is on the back foot here. Needs to take this one down. Wow, Caracas from Rigorn rearing its ugly head. Being able to bounce that Philia is going to be pretty relevant here to stymie the bleeding. And then Rigorn recasts Sensei's Divining Top and just passes the turn. Uga's still on the front foot here, but I think whatever, like, Uga's going to need a follow-up threat here, right?
Yeah. Although even just having the Philia threatened, having a flash creature that as your legendary creature is much more relevant. Oh, Bomba.
Wow. Broadside Bombardiers here for Uga, and that is a really good draw. Going to apply a ton of pressure here. Uga will be able to throw this Philia potentially at some point later down the line if they want to, if they feel like it's not relevant enough to keep.
In the face of Caracas, I suspect this Philia is going to get turned into 4 damage at some point.
Yeah, also, Uga played a Scalding Tarn this turn, so they're going to be able to... looks like they're fetching right now, which to me means they're probably getting their, Sacred Foundry, I guess. Maybe a Mountain and playing a 1-drop.
Yeah, this reads to me like they have a spell to cast, but it's possible they're just getting their Surveil now. But
if they have a 1-drop...
yeah, Sacred Foundry.
Rigor not having any wrath effects is really relevant information here. This tournament is open deck list, so Uga knows that they just get to commit to the board. They never have to worry about Rigor completely board wiping them. So I like if you have a 1-drop in your hand here, just grabbing your Sacred Foundry and committing to the board and just trying to close the game out as fast as possible. I mean, we know that Time Vault can just win from anywhere.
Yeah. Does have that capability. Like, even still, Rigorn hasn't cast a tutor, could untap, play land, play Time Vault key, untap, and it's game over.
Yeah, and it looks like we're playing a Giver of Runes here from Uga.
That's a nice one. Just some more damage. We're like getting into Rigorn being dead territory.
Yeah.
It's like if Uga has access to something like a headliner, or I guess headliner Scarlet doesn't work in the face of Caracas, but another bigger hasty threat.
Death Reader's Champion.
Yeah, Death
even
Reader's
got
Champion definitely does the job.
it does a job.
Looks like a prismatic ending on the Bombardiers.
Very timely prismatic ending here from Rigorn. I think if Uga untaps with that Giver of Runes plus Bombardiers, it's gonna Rigorn would have a really hard time turning the corner in this game.
And notably,
Time Vault.
Giver of Runes can give protection from colorless, which does beat Caracas.
Yeah, really, really relevant too. So the question here for Uga, I guess, is do you attack with both creatures? Especially since you have Feeling Hand. What do you think, Jer?
I'd be pretty tempted to leave this this Giver untapped. I'm not sure the 1 damage is relevant at this point, but it's very contextual on Uga's hand. But this is sort of the pacing of the game that you want.
Oh, and it looks like Uga's tapping out here for a 4-drop, which is
white 4-drop, maybe Ranger.
Oh yeah, Ranger
Witch
Evios.
Enchanter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it is Witch Enchanter.
The most exciting. Oh, it was able to hit an Ancient Den, which is pretty nice.
Oh, I see. I didn't recognize the Ancient Den art from Rigorn. That actually is pretty big.
Yeah, a nice Stone Rain.
Rigorn getting to Cycle Lorien revealed here. Pretty important, I think, from Rigorn's perspective, making sure you hit another land drop, but also getting to shuffle out the top cards of your top. Like the top cards from your top probably weren't really impactful. And it looks like from Rigorn's perspective, I don't know if you agree with me, Jer. You're pretty in on trying to find a Time Vault to close this game out. Like regular means probably not going to be enough.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to win via fair means from this point. Although something like a Bright Glass Gearhulk like puts the brakes on Uga's aggression pretty well.
Yeah, I guess luckily for Uga, Rigorn found an island, so Bright Glass probably not in hand.
Yeah, almost certainly. Unless they have another land in hand as well.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so island to hand, Rigorn's going to untap here. Rigorn plays the island. Okay.
Sense.
If I'm Uga, I'm pretty happy with Rigorn playing the island here and not some other land to play a Gearhulk. I guess I'll Ponder in Rigorn's hand.
I think so too.
Plays out a Mana Vault.
That's spooky.
I guess this Quantum Riddler is coming down here. Oh, we got a Tezzeret the Seeker. Oh, that's a pretty good play from Rigorn's perspective here. I wonder what they're going to get with it. If you just get something like Time Vault, you know that if you have an untapper, you could potentially win next turn. You know one of the cards in your opponent's hands. I don't know. What do you think you get here, Jer?
It's a little spooky because you know about the Philia and there's a Witch Enchanter in play. So not next turn, but the turn after, Uga's able to start flickering the Witch Enchanter, which is a pretty powerful engine in this matchup.
Do you think you fire it off and just get Gearhulk here?
Looks like Rigorn's going for 4. Yeah, might try to get Gearhulk. I have to imagine Gearhulk is better than the Ring here.
Yeah, the Ring not giving protection when it enters because you didn't cast it seems very relevant in this spot.
Yeah, I wouldn't be especially excited to take 8, especially considering there's no untapper in play. Yeah, Gearhulk that is.
I think I like getting Gearhulk here. You just get to find like you can go and look for Retrofitter if you think that's good. You can get a key effect. So if you draw a tutor, you're able to win with Time Vault.
When I think that even a key effect just for this Mana Vault is going to be pretty nice.
The Giver of Runes here being really relevant, though. You can't find any removal spells like Portable Hole, for example. Like
Yeah, although you don't care too much about these creatures. Although, as I mentioned, and Gearhulk stymies the attacks for one turn, but then Ophelia gets to come down and blink the Switch Enchanter. So unless Rigorn gets some sort of path to combo, where I wonder if you get something like you got
wow, we're getting Urza Saga and
I cannot see the second one.
Manifold Key.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think getting Urza Saga here is pretty interesting. You've already played your land drop, right? So
yeah, pretty slow, especially once again in the face of this Ophelia Witch Enchanter. I wonder if Rigorn has a way to break it up. It doesn't look like it.
Do you think Rigorn is thinking if they have a way to break it up, they just have to assume that this Gearhulk is going to be able to block, like that Uga doesn't have any removal spells, and so Rigorn gets to stymie this next attack, and then the Urza Saga ends up being fast enough.
Okay, but then they still get one.
I don't think Rigorn can play the Urza Saga here. Okay, yeah,
no,
they caught it. Great.
They can't. Yeah, they played Island.
And Rigorn playing that Urza Saga means that it's possible that Rigorn got it because they thought they could play it this turn. So potentially messed up there. Not sure, but
yeah, like it seems slow in the face of Giver Ophelia Witch Enchanter. Like I think that just might be enough to get Uga over the line here. But we'll see what happens.
I mean, Rigorn does have Karakas for the Ophelia, so if Rigorn has like a Swords to Plowshares plus Karakas, then definitely does have a way to get through this Giver of Runes, and then maybe the Urza Saga is enough after that.
Possible. But this Bant Time Vault doesn't have an abundance of interaction. Like they've already cast a Prismatic Ending, but they don't have
the best of the best. Path to Exile, Swords, March.
Yeah, they don't. They have a handful of removal spells, but not much more than that. So the odds of them finding multiples is not especially high. And also notably, Uga hasn't cast any removal spells yet either.
Yeah, Uga's considering a lot here. It looks like they have 2 cards in hand, I believe. So we know that one is Ophelia. Unsure about the other one. There's a lot of considerations here. Like, what do you think? Do you think it's correct to like give her the Ranger Vios and get in for 3, given that Rigorn's at 12?
It's a Witch Enchanter.
Oh, that's right. It's a Witch Enchanter. So getting in for 2, I don't like that. I think if it was 3,
I don't think you can tap
more defensible, but
I don't think you can tap the Giver because your plan is to Ophelia on Rigorn's turn, and you need the Giver untapped to save it from Karakas.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think in those spots, I'm always considering like, well, is there a way that I can just like start winning in terms of like getting my opponent dead in a couple of turns? But I think you're right. Looks like we're playing Urza Saga and Manifold Key from Rigorn. And I forgot to mention, Uga passed the turn there with just 4 mana up.
Attacking with the Gearhulk.
Yeah, I think you can untap it with the key, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like Rigorn's attacking with the Gearhulk.
I think I would want to plan to untap this Mana Vault or untap the top, but now it feels like you're sort of priced into.
Yeah, it looks like Ophelia on end step for Uga here.
Yeah, makes a bunch.
Yeah, Rigorn took 1 off the Mana Vault, which is pretty relevant here. Every life point is going to matter. Rigorn didn't do anything on their own end step in response to the Ophelia, so Uga's just going to draw their card for the turn. Looks like they have 4 cards in hand. And then they pass to combat. Rigorn's Karakasing the Ophelia, and then Uga's tapping the Giver of Runes to give the Ophelia protection from colorless.
Yeah, you absolutely slam in with everything. And I think you have to blink the Witch Enchanter.
I guess you have to slam in with everything because you're going to lose your Ophelia anyways to the Bright Glass Gearhulk here.
Yeah.
Although I really like this attack if Uga has a removal spell, because then you're forcing Rigorn to untap the the Bright Glass Gearhulk with the Manifold Key, and then you get to remove it with your removal spell, so that Rigorn doesn't get value off of the untap for Mana Vault or Sensei's Divining Top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
no
Rigorn taps
removal spell.
Portico for Bright Glass Gearhulk.
Philia down.
Yeah. So now that the Philia is gone, you've dealt 2 to Rigorn, and this Witch Enchanter's coming back. What do you kill with the Witch Enchanter? Like, do you kill Urza Saga, Bright Glass Gearhulk?
I think it depends heavily on your hand, because if they make token next turn, it's a 4/4, which is sort of the same as the Bright Glass in terms of stymieing attacks. And then they get to make more. So I would hit the Urza Saga. Oh, Sundering Eruption targeting the Saga.
Wow, yeah, Sundering Eruption targeting the Saga, and then when your Witch Enchanter comes back, now what do you kill, Jer? Like, what do you think you get rid of between the Gearhulk and the Key?
Gearhulk, I think.
Yeah, you think you get rid of Gearhulk and just try to win the game.
Interesting.
Like,
I'm curious why we didn't Sundering Eruption pre-combat, because then you get to keep your Philia.
It's possible that Uga didn't see the interaction with Key and the Gearhulk.
Maybe that was a misstep.
Something like that doesn't really come up that often, so it's totally realistic.
Because being able to keep the Philia with the Witch Enchanter would have been huge.
Yeah, because then you get to Witch Enchanter the Manifold Key, and then the next turn you get to Witch Enchanter the Bright Glass Gearhulk. Because then you just say, like, oh, I'm not losing to the Time Vault.
I think I would still hit the Gearhulk, but because then they're just likely dead next turn.
I don't know. It's so complicated. Like,
because if you leave the Gearhulk, then you're committing your Philia to dying and losing the.
Well, but the next turn you I guess you have to commit your Giver of Runes to tapping or to the Karakas, so you actually don't get to Philia again for another couple turns, because Rigorn can activate Karakas on their turn. Yeah,
that's true.
Okay, I like your play. I think you're supposed to kill Gearhulk there if you Sundering Eruption.
Yeah. But still being able to deal with both. Oh, it looks like, what did they target with the Witch Enchanter?
Looks like it might be happening right now.
Okay.
Okay, so they got rid of the Manifold Key.
Okay.
I think getting rid of Key is defensible as well. I mean,
like, to me, then you need a way around this Gearhulk, because like Key is threatening, but so is giving them turns with a top in play.
Yeah, I agree. I will say, like, they do have a bunch of removal in their deck that they either might have in hand right now or are pretty likely to draw. So maybe that's what they're thinking. Like, kill Key. I'm probably not losing to a single Gearhulk is potentially what they're considering, but it is stymieing the attacks on the ground right now. So looks like we're
down to 8 off the.
Down to 8 off the Mana Vault.
Backing here would be crazy to me, unless
they have another Strand
tapper
and attacks with the Gearhulk, putting Uga to 9.
Isn't it a 5/5? Weren't they at 13?
No, Gearhulk's a 4/4.
Oh, okay.
Now we'll see what Rigorn's doing here. Trinket Mage.
Okay, so they're getting another untapper.
Trinket Mage off of 2 mana? Where's the 3rd mana coming from?
Yeah, great question. Oh, they fetched with
they're shortcutting a fetch. I see. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, shortcuts very common in Lander. We can't hear the players talking, so there's
we're doing our best to follow along, but
yeah, okay. So shortcutting a fetch obviously makes sense because you're going to be searching anyways. So grab a Tundra, play a Trinket Mage. Do you think Trinket Mage just getting something like
Voltaic
just another key effect, I suppose? Yeah, untap your Gearhulk.
That to me is what the attack with the Gearhulk signaled, because it's also just super threatening with just.
Oh, looks like Rigorn's getting Portable Hole here.
Okay, Portable Hole for the Giver. That also makes sense.
Yeah, especially since you're probably happy to block one of these 2/2s and then take 2, and then next turn your Gearhulk's just the biggest thing on the
It
board.
just feels like you're opening yourself up here.
That's
like-
true. Like if let's say Uga has like a lightning bolt, like a card that, or a galvanic discharge, something that doesn't kill Gearhulk but kills the Trinket Mage, then Uga gets to kill the Trinket Mage, attack you for 4, put you to 3. Like then you're in lightning bolt range, you know, or this
And you
mana
still
bolt
have this
becomes
tapped
a
mana bolt.
problem.
Yeah. Like, these attacks, I'm not sure these attacks with the Gearhulk are my favorite, but
I mean,
we'll see what happens. And
yeah, it looks like Rigorn's casting a Preordain here.
Really valuing shuffling before casting these cantrips, which is another interesting thing. Like, I often want the most information before doing all my stuff, but Rigorn knows this deck better than
one on top,
than
one
anyone.
on bottom. And
You'll
looks like Uga's untapping and going. Uga has a lot of cards in hand and has only been casting 1 spell a turn. If I'm Rigorn, I'm very concerned about what's going on over there.
Yeah, and has been missing land drops too, so we suspect at least some number of spells.
Uga considering what they're going to play here.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess this game has been going well for Uga, but you really do want to get to the point where you're casting multiple spells a turn.
Yeah.
In these Taxes decks,
but a
looks
Headliner
like we're playing
Scarlet.
a Headliner Scarlet, and wow,
That's correct.
Headliner Scarlet,
but not exactly an exciting target for Caracas.
It just pushes Rigorn to the point where now Rigorn's going to take 4, and then next turn Rigorn's going to take
4 again.
4 again, and this
one
mana
off
vault becoming really relevant, because if Rigorn doesn't untap it and takes 1, then that means both creatures from Uga are lethal next turn with the Headliner Scarlet. The thing about the Headliner Scarlet, though, is Rigorn does have a lot of counter spells in their deck. Or maybe not a lot, but like has counter spells in their deck, so definitely has ways to beat the Scarlet.
Playing a Razor Grass Ambush as a land. I think that's what that one was.
Yeah, tap land. That makes sense. The Razor Grass Ambush probably not going to be that relevant in the near future.
Probably don't care about this Trinket Mage in terms of attacking and blocking. And now Rigorn's in a really tough spot. There's an impending Headliner Scarlet that it feels like you absolutely must counter.
Yeah, notable Rigorn, I think, took 1 off of this mana vault.
Should have, yeah.
Yeah, looks like
maybe that was missed because it's under the portable hole.
Yeah, this mana vault damage is super relevant, though, so it needs to happen from. Oh no, I think they were considering it and now just drew a card.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like they did end up taking 1. They just haven't updated the life total on the thing, on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So they were considering whether or not they wanted to pay 4 mana. That makes sense. It's a pretty big decision. Like your 4 mana is going to be really relevant potentially.
Enlightened Tutor.
Okay.
That's the place you want to start.
Able to draw.
Yeah, with the top in play, this is a 1 mana find any artifact or enchantment.
Interesting though, the
time
decision to get Portable Hole instead of Key coming back big here. Because if Rigorn had gotten Key, they would be able to win this turn.
Yes. Although also notably, then the Giver would have been in play to save the Headliner Scarlet from Caracas, so they would have died.
Interesting. Yeah, good point.
Ooh, Voltaic Servant.
Yeah, they have Voltaic Servant in hand, so wow, Suga has something that's going to be the game, and wow, Rigorn takes it.
So I guess that's why you don't get Key if you have the Servant already lined up in hand.
Yeah, then you know you're just good.
Rough one from Uga, just wasn't quite able to push enough damage.
Yeah, I think the Caracas being pretty relevant there, but also if you're playing Boros Taxes, like I was saying earlier, you kind of really want to get to the point where you're casting a couple spells a turn. Some spells are obviously more impactful than others, like Headliner Scarlet, for example. But yeah, the power of Caracas being shown there.
Very good that game.
It was very good that game. And Rigorn taking it down. Great game from both players. It was fun to watch. Super interactive match in terms of like lots of decisions from both sides. Combat super relevant from both players. Interesting to see Rigorn's assertiveness and aggressiveness with the Gearhulk.
Paid out in the end, but
yeah, a lot of attacks that I was surprised to see myself, but yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break before we get to the weekly webcam finals, and we'll catch you soon. Hey everyone, welcome back in to the 2025 Discord webcam year-end Canadian Highlander championships. If you're just joining us now, we had Rhaegorn take down the Async Finals, moving on to the Grand Finals. And up next, we have the weekly finals featuring Waspleys and Raccoon. Waspleys playing Esper Flash, Raccoon playing Mono White Death and Taxes with kind of like a Human Z sub theme. Two kind of spicy decks, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I like seeing Mono White Death and Taxes. I think that's really cool, especially the human sub theme. You know, you get to play Cavern of Souls, which is sweet.
Yeah, we got a Thalia's Lieutenant.
Oh yeah,
we got a Champion of the Parish. We got some actual factual human kindred relevant cards. Ether Vial, I love this card.
So sick. What do you think of this point spread, Jer? I'm curious on your take. Mox Pearl, Soul Ring, Ancient Tombs.
Kinda like it. I'm a noted non-believer in Urza's Saga as a fair, like, mid-range card. I don't think it's very good in that respect. But, you know, there's not a lot of 1-point cards that Mono White gets to utilize, so it's possible it's better than a Plains. I don't mind the rest of it. I would have been tempted to go for a Mana Crypt myself, I think. But it's really interesting to see when people decide to go wider. Soul Ring is definitely not much worse than Mana Crypt, so you probably get Soul Ring, Strip Mine, and Urza Saga versus a Mana Crypt.
Yeah, like how comparable is that? Yeah, totally.
But with including the Urza Saga package, you do get some fair card bangers, such as Shadow Spear, aka Morgul Knife, in this deck, which is a known card that is quite good in fair creature deck versus fair creature deck matchups, giving your creature trample and lifelink, and +1/+1, often quite good. The typical suite of disruption, but this deck also plays a bunch of grindy cards. We got Palace Jailer. You don't often see that one anymore. Extraction Specialist, sweet recursive threat. We're playing a bunch of 2-power 1-drops, such as Recruitment Officer. We got both Ranger Captain of Eos and Recruiter of the Guard
to and Starfield Shepherd.
And Starfield Shepherd to get Guide Pride online. Yeah, we got a suite of 2-power 1-drops, Veteran Survivor, Usher of the Fallen. We're playing Walking Ballista as well.
Hell yeah.
Do we have Enlightened Tutor in this deck? No Enlightened Tutor in this one. Holy cow, I just saw this now. Harm's Way.
Yeah, Harm's Way.
Old school YJ D&T staple.
Harm's Way, it fills, my cup runneth over.
And indeed. This deck is sweet. Excited to see it in action. And I actually think it's set up pretty well for the fair fair matchup, despite the fact that they played Jeskai Black and Citadel to get here. So this deck looks pretty well set up for this matchup, I think.
Yeah, it looks like Raikkoon plays not a ton of mono white taxes, so this is like a pretty big curveball.
Yeah,
which is
big swerve.
Well, and like when you're playing these smaller events, like not smaller, but like in terms of actual size
like
of competitor,
sort of quote unquote invitational events.
Totally. Curveballing your competitors can actually be pretty beneficial because they might have tacked specifically for their matchups against you. And it looks like Raccoon played against Citadel Storm and 4-color control on the way to this match. So, I mean, Death and Tax is definitely where you want to be against Citadel Storm and 4-color control. Has, I think, pretty positive matchups into both of those. Like,
I think against control, it's probably pretty close, but
definitely. So yeah, Raccoon also has a pretty high win rate apparently among the events that they play in, are known to be a pretty strong players. So they probably just identified that mono white Death and Taxes is where they wanted to be in terms of the best positioned deck for their spot in the tournament. So excited to see them play it out. Let's move on to the Esper Flash deck. I'm really interested in reviewing this archetype with you.
Yeah, so the big interesting number to me here is the one next to creatures where it says 41.
Not typical of blue decks in general, Esper
and even the Flash decks,
style decks, etc.
tend to have a few more creatures than the control or tempo decks, but usually you're still playing like full suite of counter spells, full suite of removal spells. Not the case here. We are playing to the board early and often. We're slamming loads of creatures, and we're playing just the cream of the crop removal and interaction spells. Like, what are some of the classic first blue cards when you're building a Highlander deck, Trent? Like, cantrips, maybe
Ponder, Preordain.
Not in the deck.
Yeah,
get them out of here.
Get my Serum Visions. Turn 1 recall, as some of us call it.
Yeah, I mean, just thank God we don't have to play that card.
But, I love this point spread too, Jer. Like Mox Pearl, Mox Sapphire, but also playing Psychic Frog is such a vibe. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's very
sick.
similar to the spread I play in blue black, to be fair.
Totally. So. And you get to play White Plume here. I'm interested to see this matchup play out because, like, I think the impetus behind playing Flash is that you get to play at instant speed, but mono white Death and Taxes basically does not care that much how instant speed you play. Like, it obviously affects your combat calculations in terms of like which creatures you might want to attack with, etc. But in terms of like holding up cards to make your opponent's counter spells worse, etc., like that type of stuff isn't going to be in play this match. So it'll be interesting to see how these Flash creatures stack up against mono white's like sorcery speed creature threats.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting match. Notably, Waspleys is the higher seed. They're seed 5, Raccoon seed 6, which I think is a big deal in this matchup. I think this matchup is going to be a lot about tempo and the board, and whoever gets ahead on board is likely going to be, I mean, obvious commentator observation is obvious, but this matchup is very much about the board and who's ahead on board. There's no sweepers, there's no huge big swingy bombs, there's no oops into combos. It's about mostly who's winning.
We're going to see a lot of creatures turning sideways, and Jerry, that's what I love the most about Magic. I want to shout something out as well here. Waspleys, the 5th seed, but only started playing events halfway through 2025, so has been kind of crushing it since they started playing events, and is also known for sort of like quote unquote unconventional deck building. So playing these types of decks where like even you and I are like, wow, you're playing 41 creatures. Like that's feels like a lot from our perspective. But I mean, one of the cool things about Highlander is you can really find like archetypes and ways of deck building that like suit your style. Exactly. And it seems like Waspleys has done that to really good effect. some deck building decisions Jer and I won't get behind if they're your style, say 22 lands, for example. But Wasply's rocking 31 plus 2 mocks and 4 MDFCs. We give our rubber stamp of approval for your mana base here, Wasply's, at least for the total land count. But with all that being said, I think we can move into the gameplay as long as the players are ready.
Nice.
One thing I wanted to say before we hop in here, the last match reminded me is that these players probably haven't been played on webcam streams before. And that could potentially lead into some situations where we see the players making, slight in-optimizations or whatever. Playing on camera is really challenging. So I want to give big ups to the players for, playing on camera and doing their best and still giving us some like really solid, interesting games.
Definitely.
You and I both know, Jared. It can be pretty challenging to play on camera, all things considered, even when you're not playing for anything. In terms of like, not that these players aren't playing for anything, but you and I are often playing on camera and not really playing for anything but our YouTube channel. So really, really just wanted to say that. And also, Jer and I, we're commentating as best as we can in terms of like what plays we think players are going to be making or what we think they should be making. But we don't have full information. We don't know the players' hands. We're not necessarily experts in their archetypes or even their particular deck lists. So, any commentary that we have in terms of like, we think this might have been better, et cetera, like you can take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. Like, Jer and I, we'd like to think that we know what we're doing, and quite often we do, but we don't have perfect information here. And we're doing our best there. But and to the players as well, if you're watching back at this, we might be suggesting lines of play that we might have taken differently. But again, take that with a grain of salt. We don't know your hands. We don't know how practiced you are on the archetype, what matters, what doesn't. But yeah, looks like both players are looking at their sevens, and Wasply's is going to mulligan here. I think Raccoon is either still deciding or keeping. Wasply's being the fifth seed would have had to choose to mulligan first, right? Because I assume they would have chosen the play.
you would assume, based on my assertion, that this matchup is about being on board and being ahead on tempo.
But sometimes drawing that
first
is just so tantalizing,
I mean, even when that's not what a matchup is about in Magic, just go first, unless it's like M13 limited and you have 4 opportunities in your deck.
Oh, M13 limited and you have a patient rebuilding in your deck and you're playing 45 because you need to mill your opponent out. You're getting me almost as excited as I was when I saw this Harm's Way in the deck. I really want to see a clutch Harm's Way, Jared. That's what I'm looking for.
It's going to be so good in this
matchup.
Yeah. Because it's going to save a creature and kill one of Wasply's creatures.
For 1 mana. It's like going to be 1 mana, terminate.
Legitimately one of the best cards in this matchup.
Raccoon preferring Coca-Cola to Pepsi. We'll have to ask them about that later. Jer's giving me the head shake of disapproval. Let's move back to the Magic here, folks, and not the magic of the Coca-Cola
resolving their mulligan. Looks like they're keeping here, putting a card to the bottom. So just on 6, not going fully into the mulligan sewer. And we'll see what they start us off with. Tanking on a land. A tapped. Oh, nope. We got a spell.
Oh, it looks like we are playing a spell that I can't recognize.
Spell. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, a discard spell.
Oh, it's an Inquisition of Kozilek.
Nice.
Nailed it.
Makes a lot of sense.
I nailed it before I was even messaged that was an IOK, so... Okay, so it looks like we're seeing what? Walking Ballista, Dryad Militant, March of Otherworldly Light, Thalia, Heretic Cathar, and Stoneforge Mystic, I believe.
That
That's
looks like a lot of not lands.
Yeah, I can't make out the artifact on the right side here.
Maybe
It is.
Mox?
Well, I think it's the knife. I think it's Morgul knife.
Oh, Aether Vial.
Oh,
apparently it's an Aether Vial.
oh, okay, interesting.
Which does sort of make some amount of sense.
Yeah, especially if you're keeping a land like hand. Yeah, yeah. So if you're Waspleys here, what do you take with your Inquisition? Like, do you hope to take the Aether Vial and like get rid of the land? Like,
yeah, that appears to be what happened. The sort of crux. I think it was either Aether Vial or Thalia. If you think the game is going to go long, Thalia seems pretty good against the flash creatures because one of the things you're looking to do is make combat difficult for your opponent.
Yeah, definitely.
Having to attack into open mana and like 35 flash creatures seems like a nightmare.
Also, notably, Thalia shutting off flash creatures' ability to like come in and block during your attacks, right? So
exactly.
Soldier is named on Cavern of Souls. Thanks a lot to Raccoon for holding that up for us. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Looks like we're gonna get the Dryad Militant coming here. Yeah, I think it's defensible to take Aether Vial or Thalia, because if you take Thalia, you could say like, well, this Aether Vial isn't good with the Walking Ballista. It's not particularly relevant with the Dryad Militant in hand, right? And if Raccoon draws lands, then taking a Thalia might have been like, more better for you, more impactful.
Notably, Thalia also a soldier, so when and if we get the 3 lands, she'll come down as uncounterable.
Yeah, but I don't hate taking Aether Vial there. I don't think
I think Aether Vial is what I would have taken, because you have a chance to just win the game on the spot, basically.
Yeah, and also like we talked about, this matchup really dependent on what you're playing to the board. Looks like we're cycling brainstorming.
And of course, Brainstorm getting exiled due to the Dryad Militant, and Waspleys is playing both the pointed blue delve spells, so keeping cards out of the bin could definitely be relevant here.
Definitely, like you were saying earlier, it being really relevant to get onto the board. So if you take the Aether Vial and Raccoon misses a couple of land drops, you might just be so far ahead by the time that Raccoon hits their land drops that you're actually just winning because of how much more mana you've been able to spend in the second, third, and fourth turns of the game.
I'm just trying to see, because this is an early Brainstorm from Waspleys, so that tells me their hand likely wasn't great. Okay, good. They do have the fetch. I was worried this was the old desperation Brainstorm. Hope.
Yeah, I guess
everything we need, including a fetch, and go from there. But nope, looks like we're all good. I still don't know what land that is from Waspleys. Do you know what land they have in play? It's very dark.
Produces black mana. It's a watery grave.
Watery grave, okay.
Also, I really like this Stadtmeisterschaft Dresden playmat. Pretty cool. We failed to mention this in the last match, but 3 of the 4 of our competitors are from Europe, I believe, is what they were saying. Unfortunately, our Canadian
compatriot
competitor
fell in the last round. So guaranteed European champion from the webcam side here.
We try to remain as unbiased as possible, but we did kind of want you to take it down for the homeland, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And looks like we're just getting a white-black surveil here.
Okay.
Shadowy backstreet. And Waspleys deciding to keep on top with the backstreet here, it looks like.
Okay. Mox? Is that a Mox?
Is that a Mox? Yeah, it's
Sapphire.
Sapphire? Yeah.
Sapphire. Okay, so interesting. So they didn't have a 2 mana card to play.
Yeah. That's definitely relevant information for Raccoon here. Let's see if Raccoon drew a second land.
Yeah, that is going to be the crux of this game, I think.
For what it's worth,
Attacking.
I think a lot of the time you can keep 1 mana Aether Vial hands, especially in this matchup where like you're pretty unlikely to get disenchanted or what have you after it resolves.
Drew planes.
Wow, Raccoon drew the planes. That's a big draw.
And then is that Stoneforge?
Yeah, I think this is a Stoneforge. So
what would you go for here?
On the stack here? I think you probably should go for Skull Clamp would be my guess. Like I think you like it's either Skull Clamp or Glimmer Lens, maybe. I think Glimmer Lens is also pretty reasonable.
I go for Clamp. I was gonna suggest maybe going for Pre-War. I generally don't love Skull Clamp in the fair matchups.
Yeah.
And less so when I'm down on lands. Like obviously it can find you lands, but then you're spending like key turns trying to dig for lands.
I think that the thing for me is like Pre-War is 3 mana, right? And like you also don't have any juicy targets currently for the Pre-War, I think. Like if they kill your Dried Militant, you get a Militant back, you're not super happy about that. Like
giving +2/+2 and Vigilance is so good in these types of matchups.
It is pretty big.
This basically guarantees you're gonna have the biggest thing on board. Give a flyer Vigilance. The flash deck just never gets to attack. Ooh, big Wasteland on the Cavern.
Wow, yeah, that's a huge deal.
All right.
I guess now the Skull Clamp looking pretty good because if Raccoon didn't draw another mana source.
Yeah, we need. Oh, this is.
Looks like we're marching the Mox Sapphire here.
Yeah. I don't know.
And we're flashing in.
Looks like. Oh, I saw this one. Weeping Angel. Oh no, Errant and Giada. Okay. So this gives this lets them cast cards from the top, spells with flash or flying from the top.
This card is sick. 3 mana 2/3 flyer that lets you cast spells off the top if they have flash. Oh yeah.
But it does look like this Mox Sapphire is eating it.
Interesting to see if Raccoon plays another land here. Probably not, because you probably would have played a land pre-cast to play around Daze.
When I think we would have seen Skull Clamp had we had the land.
What do you think about Skull Clamping versus casting March there? I think you probably have to cast the March, because if you're already down on like land drops, you can't be spending 1 turn and then another turn getting rid of.
But I think you have to, because then like next turn, what if you don't draw the land? Then next turn you're playing 1 Skull Clamp and then you're delaying hitting lands by a turn. I think you just need to hit lands as fast as possible.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
And like Waspleys has not been putting on pressure.
Although Waspleys did miss a land drop. Or no, they played Wasteland, so they haven't even missed a land drop yet.
Dryad Militant attacked and Errant and Giada just didn't block.
Are we mutagenic growth respecting? Is that in the deck? I don't think so.
No. Yeah, I'm not sure what we were playing around there, but currently in combat. This seems like a free block to me, but I'm not certain.
Yeah, this is really interesting.
Okay, we're in Declare Attackers. Waspleys is in the tank. I probably would be too, being like...
Yeah, I think you have to be in the tank here.
I would...
There's no way to instant speed mana from the Mono White Death and Taxes deck, I think.
No, like, I'm trying to think of what gets you. Because if they had mana up, Harm's Way, obviously. Can't ever block.
Is there any way to deal 1 damage here?
Ancient Tomb.
Oh, the Walking Ballista with an Ancient Tomb to get rid of the Errant and Giada. I actually don't mind this play from Raccoon, since you have like second and third mana source, you're basically saying like I'm getting rid of your potential like card advantage card draw engine, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I guess Raikkoon now trying to flip the switch and being like, all right, you want to play a low resource game? I'll play a low resource game. But
well, and Raikkoon's advantage
Also-
in a low resource game because of the skull clamp, right? Like, because Raikkoon will be able to flip the switch into a high resource game potentially.
that looks like a godless shrine to me.
It's an Esper Triumph, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So Waspy's just playing Triumph and passing. Now Raikkoon gets the first crack at like jamming a creature into play. Oh wow, and drew us another planes. Raikkoon drawing really hot off the top here with
Here's the Thalia.
Thalia really good against this Esper Flash deck. Like tons of non-basics in this deck. Like obviously there's the blocking thing. Like now Raikkoon gets to attack with impunity because
everything's entering tapped. So even if they have a flash creature.
Yeah, now Skull Clamp comes down. I'd say Raikkoon's in a pretty commanding position now if Waspy's doesn't have like a 2-mana flash creature here.
The top of their deck was very, very kind. They've been
you definitely drawing
lands,
ancient tomb lands.
What they needed.
That's what the doctor ordered for sure.
And this is what we were saying, is that if they were able to
hit the land drops, then the Aether Vial pick is a little less impactful.
Swords on the Thalia.
Yeah, I mean, you basically have to Swords to Plowshares the Thalia, right? Like, it's not like your Swords is getting any better, I don't think.
Nope, that is a premium target for the removal for sure.
Yeah, so the Swords resolves, and Waspy's untaps and draws and plays.
Looks like pending on the
Skull Clamp. Okay, wow, this game is really evened up here. Raikkoon's decision to get rid of the Arrington Giada really working out here too.
Well, I'm not sure, because then you would still have Walking Ballista. Like Walking Ballista with Ancient Tomb like is really powerful, because you could have like potentially waited a turn or two and kept it in play.
Coppercoat Vanguard here for Raikkoon. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I feel like the Arrington Giada like
+1/+0. I guess
probably a little better.
+1/+0 and ward. I'm a genius.
Yeah, the Coppercoat Vanguard is
notably Stoneforge
really
Mystic, not a human. It is a core
Artificer.
Yes,
I'm a genius.
I'm only loosely familiar with Stoneforge Mystic. You see,
only a little bit.
I've cast thousands in my lifetime.
Yeah, Waspy's draws and passes the turn. Pretty common play pattern for this deck.
Yeah,
Raikkoon sending them both in. I kind of like this,
but
like if they eat your Stoneforge Mystic, then so be it. But just putting the pressure on Mother Rune's going to be really impactful here. Especially since Waspy's isn't packing a ton of removal spells. They've already cast 2 of them, like Swords to Plowshares and Prismatic Ending.
Yeah,
Mother makes combat a nightmare for your flash creatures.
And Waspy's is down to 10. Like this.
Looks like Leyline Binding. Wow, so Waspy's did have the 3rd removal spell.
But Mother Runes of the human. So now you can only take the
Coppercoat itself.
Coppercoat or the Stoneforge.
Okay, so this lowers the clock on Waspy's, but this Mother Runes is still going to be a problem.
For sure, yeah. Because Waspy's has no pressure, so Raikkoon's going to have time to draw threats. Like, it's just going to happen.
Yeah, unless Waspy's has something like an Orcish Masters right here, right now. And wow, the Mother Runes gets to untap, or Raikkoon gets to untap with the Mother Runes, and this is a really big deal. Matters a lot.
Yeah, and still getting the chip damage in with the Stoneforge.
This Ancient Tomb has been super good this game, providing Raikkoon a lot of mana, critical mana that they've needed. Yeah, so they're taking 2 off the Ancient Tomb, playing 4 mana, casting Seasoned Engineer. I like that Raikkoon considered before casting Seasoned Engineer here. Like, Waspy's is playing a ton of flash flying threats, so like you should at least in these moments, especially when you're pretty far ahead, take another second. Like, obviously don't take too much time, but just take a second to be like, do I actually want to introduce the initiative? You know, this like game warping impacting effect. And Raccoon, I think, correctly decided to introduce it. I mean, you have a Mother of Runes, like you're
This
never
feels
gonna.
like lights out to me.
Yes,
Like, how does Wasp please get back from this?
but I really like taking that extra second just to like be really positive that this is what you want to do, especially when
Yeah.
you're this far ahead. You want to make sure that you're not introducing a potential way that your opponent could actually get out from the pressure that you're presenting. Wasp please needs a flash threat here, like needs a creature, which they have many of. So I guess we'll see what they're gonna play.
Tapping 3.
End step, we've got a Kazul's
Flanker.
Flanker.
Yeah.
Flank Walker. What am I on? So the flank. I'm on the flank. Let's see here. This is hard to do.
It gets a counter, or you gain 2, scry 2, or you exile a graveyard. Looks like we're gain 2, scry 2ing. Makes sense.
Yeah, it could. You can't really take the counter because of the Mother of Runes. Like,
yeah, it doesn't do anything.
If Mother wasn't in play, you would probably take the counter so you get an attack into the Seasoned Engineer potentially. But I think I like
getting the Seasoned Engineer off the board doesn't do anything either.
Yeah, I like game 2. Wow,
it's really awkward.
Wasply's keeping on top. What do you think you're keeping here if you're Wasply's chair? Like, there's so many cards that you cannot keep, right?
Removal spell, your own initiative creature, maybe.
Well, you can't keep removal spell because of Mother of Runes, right? So you'd like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I don't even know what you keep here realistically.
Because like I slam Forge onto the Stoneforge Mystic.
Looks like Raccoon going for Forge on the Seasoned Engineer here.
Interesting.
I think I prefer forging on the Stoneforge Mystic as well.
We're considering. Because that makes it a 3/4, which gives you 2 great attackers into, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it looks like we're choosing to forge onto the Stoneforge here. Raccoon goes to their draw step. I mean, getting this 5th land from the initiative also probably pretty relevant.
I love this attack.
Yep, just get in. Looks like the Seasoned Engineer is targeting itself.
I think it has to, right? Because it's only the party.
And so it's Raccoon explores top of the library is plains. He gets to draw it. And now we've got 2 3/4s attacking Waspleys. I guess we'll see what Waspleys kept on top. I have to imagine that whatever Waspleys kept is happening right now.
You would think, but I'm looking through and like the disadvantage of flash threats is they're often not especially bulky in terms of power and toughness, and that's exactly what you need on this board. We're chump blocking with the flanker.
Okay, so it's not happening right now, but I have to assume that Waspleys is casting something on end step that's going to be relevant. Is it maybe something like Aang the Last Airbender, or sorry,
Aang Swift Savior?
Swift Savior, like maybe try to bounce the Mother of Runes. We've got a Malcolm here. I can't imagine that that's what Wasply's kept, but I guess we'll see.
Maybe just needed a flyer to try to get the initiative to avoid getting trapped.
Yeah, I guess maybe from your perspective, if you're Wasply's, the trap is like potentially your like second biggest problem after the 2 creatures attacking you.
Yeah.
Yeah, also notable, Wasply's is missing land drops here.
Yeah, it's been stuck on 3 lands. Like, and Waspleys was the one who wastelanded this game.
I mean, at the time, it made a lot of sense too, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying it was wrong, but I'm saying wasteland is often an awkward card.
So we're getting in for 2 with the Malcolm. Raccoon has the Razor Grass Ambush.
That's
very relevant.
Feels like game.
Yeah, if you're Waspleys, you probably need this draw from the Malcolm here, and you need
and you get the land from the initiative,
yeah.
And you don't get trapped, and lots of things.
So many things.
This feels like everything.
Everywhere, all at once.
Is this Razor Grass resolving?
I think Waspleys is considering, looks like they're just going to concede. They might have had like Force of Negation in hand. They're like, okay, well, I can Force of Negation this, but then I'm just dead on their attack steps. So that might be why they were taking some time to figure out, like, does this actually work even if I do this?
That was big for Raccoon, I think. Breaking serve, winning game 1 on the draw.
Oh, especially in this matchup where the board is going to be the most important factor in the games.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with Waspleys' decision to take Aether Vial and also to Wasteland, but Raccoon just had the lands on top of their library. I mean, it happens sometimes, like in Magic, sometimes you make what many would consider to be the optimal play, but it just doesn't end up working out. But yeah, Raccoon drew the lands that they needed at the times that they needed it, and ended up taking the game.
It's important to note on your last comment there that the optimal play is the one that works out given the information you have the most often. It's like a percentage
the most percentage.
And I think Waspleys made very reasonable decisions, but Raccoon drew real hot. And
I mean, Raccoon also played well based on what they drew. Looking back at it, I think I do like attacking with the Dryad Militant and then killing the Arrington Giada from Raccoon's perspective. Although I do think that play is like maybe a little more interesting than we're giving it credit for in terms of how potentially complex it is. And also, it depends really heavily on what's in the rest of Raccoon's hand there to make that attack like work. Like we knew about Skull Clamp, but there were also 2 or 3 other cards that we didn't know about. So. And I like that Waspleys took the time and didn't just snap block. Although from our perspective, it did feel like blocking was pretty free. When people make strange attacks like that, you should take a second to figure out why.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like Raccoon's looking at their 7 right now. I don't think Waspleys. I think Waspleys was just shuffling. I don't think they've actually looked at a 7 yet. I really want to see a Harm's Way at some point, Jer. So I either want it this game or I want a 3rd game so that we can get a higher percentage chance to see it.
I'm here for it.
So Waspleys is going to be on the play again.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's Stadmeisterschaft Dresden, looks like. I don't know. My German isn't as good as it used to be.
Okay. Both players on 7.
Wow. And we're
kicking it off with
Jataxian probing here.
Jataxian probe.
I think Jataxian probe in this deck is pretty reasonable. We've
Plains, Chrome Mox, Adeline,
Archon, Surge of Salvation, Shadow Spear, and Dryad Militant.
Okay.
Is that a Chrome Mox?
Yeah, I think that's a Chrome Mox.
Okay, yeah.
Masterwork Chrome Mox.
That makes sense. We've talked about Jataxian probe in decks that are like maybe a little more aggressive, and how we don't really love it in a lot of situations, like, you know, Jataxian probe in mono red, for example. Like I don't often think that's correct, but I think in Esper Flash it's actually pretty good because you have so many cards that do so many different things, like in the ways that they interact with your opponent, that I like the Jataxian probe here. Looks like
you also have the delve spells, so you have an incentive to put cards into your graveyard.
Also, it tells you like whether or not you want to cast a flash threat on your opponent's turn or your turn. Like sometimes if your threat is relevant enough and you see that your opponent has counter spells, you'll want to cast your flash threat on your own turn, right?
Mm-hmm. What would you take here? Are you at all tempted by this Chrome Mox and go down the same path as last game?
Well, it looks like we're Godless Shrine untapped or Godless Shrine
we
tapped.
Don't take anything with Jataxian Probe. Never mind.
I think I would take
That
Chromox if I was going to take anything though. If I had the ability to take
if
something.
it was Inquisition all over
Yeah.
again.
Oh, it's a hollowed fountain. Okay. Yeah, hollowed fountain pearl. Looks like we're Chromoxing Surge of Salvation.
Makes sense.
That makes sense to me too. Just keep your threats.
Yeah.
Playing a Dryad Militant and the Shadow Spear. Raccoon really needing that another land off the top here.
Yeah. But they could already be in their hand. They have one.
Definitely. They have
so.
2 draw steps to find it. The one that they just took and next draw step. All right.
Being able to slam an Adeline here is pretty terrifying in this matchup.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Waspleys decides to do here. Going to play an untapped land, it looks like. It looks like a scrub land, and we're just passing the turn here. Did Raccoon hit the land drop? It looks like they did.
Yes. Yes, they did.
And they're playing They're choosing to play Archon of Emir over Adeline. What do you think about this chair?
Archon, when you're ahead on board, is pretty nice. I think I would have played Adeline, but
do you think the consideration here is that if you play Adeline, you still don't know if you're attacking with Dryad Militant because of how many flash 2/3s are in Wasply's deck? So you play
Archon's the same, right? Because it doesn't stop spells. It's just one per turn, and they hadn't cast a spell yet, so they still.
Yeah, I guess the difference is Archon. Yeah, and it looks like Wasply's cast Arrington Giada, so good of Raccoon not to attack there.
I'm always just like feel pretty incentivized to play Archon as one of my last spells, because now if you like want to play like Adeline plus another card, or you have like a 1-mana removal spell plus a 2-drop next turn,
now you can't do it. Yeah,
and
I
it
guess
feels like Archon is pretty good for this flash deck because they're very able to play a cheap card on their turn if they want, and then develop a threat on Raccoon's turn.
Wasply's hit Spectacular Spider-Man off of the top. This card I think is really good. It's a 2-mana 3/2 flash, and you can pay 1 mana to give it flying, and also you can pay 1 mana and sack it to give creatures hexproof and indestructible on your side of the table. And then it looks like we're playing a tapped Watery Grave and passing.
Looks like that happened on the upkeep, so you're essentially drawing a card anytime you're able to play a card off the top like that.
Yeah, and that's just type play from Waspleys. Since you can cast your flash threats, you should look at your top card before you go to your draw step. Yeah, I think the Archon decision as well potentially includes that Waspleys has to play tap lands afterwards. Like after you play the Archon, Waspleys is playing like
but they were already on 3 mana, so like they don't have many 4-drops at all in their deck, and so like I don't know.
No, I don't even know if
it's close. I don't think it's like a slam dunk Adeline. I just think I would want to get, because also like Archon can't really attack.
Well,
it looks like it's attacking.
Would say otherwise.
It has a Shadow Spear
to the Archon.
Right.
So.
All right, yeah, the Shadow Spear makes it more reasonable.
6-point life swing here, pretty effective for you. Looks like we're playing a Caracas here as well. Caracas
big,
very very relevant here, and an Ocelot Pride as well.
We got multiple choices for the Caracas here.
Well, and this Pride is gonna make a 1/1, right? And then next turn it's gonna ascend. It's not ascending this turn. Raccoon only has 9 permanents, really close to the 10. Yeah, the card under the Chromox.
Are you at all tempted to Caracas the Arrington Giada right now?
I think you should.
Yeah, it looks like we are.
Because then Waspleys doesn't get a chance to look at the top card of their library on their turn in upkeep or after draw step. And you're getting such a big mana advantage when you Caracas this Arrington Giada. And now Waspleys has to decide if they want to sacrifice the Spectacular Spider-Man to give the Arrington Giada hexproof, or if they just want to bounce it to the hand. I like not sacrificing your 3/2. I think if you sacrifice your 3/2, you're only getting 1 more turn of your Arrington Giada. So like realistically, you're sacking board presence to potentially get more board presence, but you're gonna have to pay for that like future presence anyways. So yeah, looks like we're just drawing from Waspleys here. Yeah, what do you do here? Like you can't really play your Ayrton Giada.
You need it's once again, you need a chonky threat, and just aren't very many of those.
I guess interestingly enough, if you have multiple threats that you can play one now and one on Raikun's turn, which is pretty nice. A way to get around Archon of Emeria. But pretty hard for this Esper Flash deck to have multiple threats when it only has 4 mana.
Yeah, I feel like you'd need a removal spell and a threat. That's like the best we can hope for, I think.
If you have a removal spell here, what do you target? Do you think you target the Archon or the Ocelot Pride? My temptation would be to get rid of the Pride before it gets out of hand, potentially.
Maybe. Your life total's still pretty high and the attacks aren't great yet, but
it's hard because you're just going to be taking a walloping from this Archon of Emeria. Like, you can't block. It's a 3/4, so you can't even send your Spider-Man into the skies for a block.
All right.
Okay, well, I guess we're going to see what Waspleys is choosing to do here.
1 mana white spell.
I mean, it's got to be some sort of removal spell, right? Yeah. I think this removal spell decision, if it is a removal spell, is so critical that it makes sense that Waspleys is taking some time here trying to figure out exactly what to do.
Looks like pending.
Yeah, so if it's pending, I think...
Pending, it's going after the Pride.
Yeah,
or it could go after the Shadow Spear, actually.
Shadow Spear is pretty problematic for you.
But Pride is probably the more pressing issue, I would imagine.
I guess if you get rid of Shadow Spear, you can block Pride, right? Because then Raikun doesn't have any way.
Block Pride, you can block Archon. Right?
I guess Pride will still.
Yeah, so we are going after.
I kind of like this play. I kind of like this play.
Don't hate it. It feels like the best long-term route to victory because, like, the creatures from both sides are just so mopey in this matchup that, like, giving one of them +1/+1 trample and lifelink is so good.
It could be a big deal. And like you were saying before in the pre-match analysis, like, Shadow Spear really good in these creature matchups, and we see that bearing out here. Waspleys played a tapped Triumph on their turn, so that signifies to me that they really want that 5th mana. Otherwise, you'd probably keep it in hand just to cycle at some point. We are on Raikun's turn, however, and Raikun just drew a card and is now considering whether or not they want to go to combat, what that looks like, etc. So I guess the interesting question here is, like, how do you attack if you're Raikun? Like, if you send your Dryad Militant in, yeah, you can bounce the Errant of Giada, but what if Waspleys has a different 3-mana 2/3? Are most of the 3-mana 2/3s things that you can bounce?
But you can still bounce Spider-Man because it's also legendary.
Oh, wow, it is legendary.
Adeline hits the board here. I kind of just want to cram with everything.
Yeah, I think my temptation would be to attack with everything as well. Especially now that you've played an Adeline, like, you're just putting a lot of pressure on your opponent. Yeah, I'm a fan of this as well.
Get him.
Yeah, and interesting thing here, if Waspleys doesn't play something pre-combat and goes to block with the Spider-Man.
Is that a Slither Wisp?
Yeah, looks like it to me.
Weeping Angel.
Sweet. Weeping Angel?
Apparently it's a Weeping Angel.
What is that card? Oh, First Strike, Vigilance, Flash. Whenever an opponent casts a creature spell, it isn't a creature until end of turn. If it would deal combat damage to a creature, prevent that damaging, that creature's owner shuffles it into the library.
Huh.
So interesting. Not before blocks, we are not seeing the Caracas activation on the Spectacular Spider-Man. I was saying before, if you just go to blocks here before casting this Weeping Angel, like, let's say Waspleys just goes to block the Ocelot Pride, then you can just bounce the Spider-Man with the Caracas, so you don't even lose your Pride. So I like this full attack here. Interesting. It looks like Raikun is just letting damage happen.
What's getting shuffled in? Because presumably this Weeping Angel blocked.
The Ocelot Pride is living for some reason. I'm not sure. Oh, no, it's okay. It is getting shuffled in. Yeah. So Raccoon gained 1 from the Pride, but the Pride's going back into the library here. Looks
Angel
like
blocked the Pride. That makes sense.
Yeah, and the Spider-Man blocked a 1/1.
Yeah, blocked an Adeline 1/1. Okay. I'm surprised we didn't Caracas the Spider-Man.
You know,
I guess maybe if you have another 3-mana threat, you could say that's more important. I just want to pile on the
yeah, like
pressure
you
here.
can eat my 1/1. I'm going to develop into something more significant. It's also possible that Raikun's. I mean, like I missed Caracasing the Spider-Man, right? And I'm not
Mhm.
playing. I'm commentating, and I have the deck list in front of me. Like, it's
It is possible to miss for sure.
yeah, definitely.
Also, like if you have a creature in hand, you're kind of incentivized to keep it until next turn because you
It
want
looks
to
like
play a
Raikkonen-
creature to turn off the Sweeping Angel.
Yeah, it also looks like Raikoon might not even have any cards in hand. So I think, yeah, you're probably supposed to Caracas the Spectacular Spider-Man, but maybe just missed it.
What is that?
That's an Ascension token, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah, because Raikoon would have ascended as soon as Adeline hit play.
yeah.
But yeah, it looks like they don't have any cards in hand. So, you know, it's also a consideration that they're keeping up Caracas for Adeline, like to make sure that the Adeline stays in play.
That's possible.
I guess also they could bounce their Adeline on Wasply's end step to then be able to play it and turn the Weeping Angel into a not a creature.
Yeah, that's a line. And then you can
Also,
also bounce the Spider-Man on your turn if you want to.
we mentioned multi-spelling, but Raikoon actually wouldn't have been able to multi-spell because of the Archon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Wasply's currently asking a judge question. So probably just wondering about an interaction or
Yeah, this
my guess is it has to do with Weeping Angel.
This Esper Flash deck has a lot of cards that are like kind of a little crunchy, you know, have a bunch of small interactions. So not surprised to hear a judge call happening.
White spell.
Wow, this thing has vigilance. Holy.
This card is kind of crazy.
Yeah, this card is kind of sick. All right, so Wasply's casting an Esper Sentinel.
Okay, that's not
passing the turn.
Not at its best in this matchup.
So let's see what Raikoon's doing here. Are they bouncing their Adeline or are they bouncing the Spider-Man?
Bouncing Spider-Man, it looks like.
I think you're kind of incentivized to bounce Adeline from my perspective because you really do. I guess
doing it on your turn.
Actually, you get a 1/1 from Adeline, so it actually
you need to
you
need to cast.
Wow. Okay.
But this way you get to decide like do it after you draw. So like if you draw a creature, you can cast that instead of having bounced your Adeline.
Yeah, that's fair. Definitely more mana efficient. Yeah, it looks like Raikoon's just sending in.
I wonder if this Adeline is attacking or not, because it has vigilance, so it's not immediately obvious.
The Weeping Angel is going to get to block here unless Raikoon has an instant speed. Flash creature.
Yeah, in which case you would have cast it before blocks, right?
Yeah, I guess unless you think there's some sequence where it makes sense for you to like let Wasply's block and then turn it into not a creature. I don't really see that though.
No. Adeline not attacking.
Yeah, also, I guess if you attack, if you let's say you did attack with Adeline, the Weeping Angel blocks, you just bounce your Adeline. Looks like we're going to see the Spectacular Spider-Man here. Worth noting that even if Raikoon had a removal spell, Wasply's has the Spectacular Spider-Man in hand. So maybe if Raikoon has a removal spell here, could have attacked first to get the Spectacular Spider-Man on the stack so that they could remove the Weeping Angel.
Yeah, we're Caracasing back, I assume, the Spider-Man.
I guess now Waspleys has to decide whether or not they want to sacrifice the Spider-Man to give creatures indestructible and hexproof.
Yeah, I gotta think at some point that's the line. If not now, then
Yeah, like what are you
later.
going to do? Keep recasting this thing for forever? Probably not.
Yeah, especially since we know there are already other legends in
Well,
here.
also, if Raccoon doesn't have a removal spell and you sacrifice the Spider-Man, you get to eat the Archon and the Esper Sentinel. And keep your, or sorry, not Esper Sentinel. You get to eat the
Dryad
Archon and the
Militant.
Dryad Militant, and you get to keep your Esper Sentinel, which isn't super relevant here, but I mean, like, the material on the board matters.
Yeah, so I gotta imagine we're blocking, Archon and Dryad Militant. Interesting. We're not blocking the Archon. Maybe Waspleys thinks that the Archon is better for them than it is for Raccoon, which is kind of an interesting.
Yeah, I could see that. I guess Waspleys has like better flash turns, but I think the
Oh,
problem.
Weeping Angel doesn't fly. I
Wait,
just assumed
what?
it did because it has giant. The whole
It
art
does have
is
giant
wings.
wings.
But yeah, all right. Notably, giant winged creature doesn't fly.
Thank you, Cyclopes, for letting us know that this
Yeah.
angel with giant wings doesn't fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Then you just block two ground creatures and take your 3. Raccoon not playing a land and not playing anything to the board. I'm curious what they drew. It's
My guess
probably
is
just a
where.
land. Yeah, and you just like didn't play it.
No real reason to.
Yeah, you have enough mana that playing the land so that if you drew a like Horizon Canopy land, but also drew a spell, like you're gonna be able to cast anything that you draw.
Exactly.
Okay,
And if you
like,
just have one land in hand, we're duressing.
yeah, this is a duress from Waspleys, and
It is
yep,
a plains.
makes sense.
Nice.
Gonna get in with the angel.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I think Waspleys is kind of turning a corner here. Like they're not out of the woods yet, but it's definitely not looking as bad as it was looking previously.
They're still just getting clocked though. Like they're
definitely behind.
Archon at some point.
I wonder if and when Raccoon's gonna attack with this Adeline.
I mean, right now it's just a token factory.
Yeah, so it looks like we're just blocking the 2 ground creatures, and we're gonna, trade with the Esper Sentinel. That makes sense. Hit you for 2 with the Archon.
Must
Right,
not on a creature.
Yeah, what does Raccoon play here?
Just pass.
Nothing, just passes. If you're Waspleys, you have to assume that Raccoon's just got another land, right? Like removal spell can't be a removal spell. Like, and the Errant Giada we saw long ago coming back.
I want to Caracas this immediately if I'm Raccoon.
Yeah, I think there's considerations to keeping your Caracas up for Adeline, but I think you basically have to Caracas this Errant Giada. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Raccoon does Caracas the Errant Giada back to Waspleys' hand, and Waspleys is going to their draw step now.
No interest in letting them get value.
Depending on the context of Waspleys' hand, I might not have hated upkeep playing Errant Giada to see if you have a 2-drop flash creature.
I mean, they got to look last turn, so they already.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because the Errant Giada was in play.
They knew.
Like, I think Waspleys is one good draw away from like turning the corner here.
Yeah,
maybe another removal
if they
spell.
can remove the Archon, they're in. Because that's another reason not to leave Caracas up for Adeline. Is Archon is the most important creature you have in play. Like,
Yeah, the Adeline. You
if
get
they
the
have
block.
a removal spell, it has to get pointed at the Archon at this point. So
I think getting rid of Shadowsphere earlier on was really relevant, though. Like you could imagine Shadowsphere just completely taking over the game for Raccoon in this spot. Like,
yeah.
Like, yes, Waspleys is still down and has been on the back foot the whole game, but I think if the Shadowsphere was in this equation, like it would have been a lot more trivial for Raccoon to get there. So Waspleys attacked for 2 with the Angel. Raccoon obviously declines to block, and now Waspleys is in their second main phase. So we know Waspleys has Arrington Giada in hand, but we don't know about any other spell. Interesting thing here is, like, because of the Archon, you might want to play Arrington Giada now, because you don't know the top card of your current library, and it might be a 2-mana flash threat that you'd need to cast on Raccoon's turn.
Yes. I'm trying to see how many there are.
I don't think 2-mana flash threats are that abundant. Like, you've got Malcolm, Fairy Mastermind.
I'm counting.
Okay, so Waspleys is tapping Mox Pearl, Hollowed Fountain.
There's 10, which is
That's
not
a pretty significant amount. Yeah. Well, is it 10 minus the Spectacular Spider-Man? Wow, we've got a Snapcaster Mage.
It was 10, not counting the Spectacular Spider-Man.
I guess Waspleys is just playing Snapcaster as a potential blocker here, because you can't flash anything back because of the Archon.
Correct.
They're considering not casting the Snapcaster here, which, if you haven't gained any new information, you're totally allowed to do. Although I don't know if we would consider this information gaining. I mean, there's nothing. I don't think there's really anything relevant to Snapcaster back. There's a Gitaxian Probe, but you don't want to pay life for that. Okay, and looks like we've gone to Raccoon's turn, and we're casting a Dismember.
Upkeep, Dismember, okay.
Yeah, it's Beholder's Deathray or Dismember, I believe. Oh no, it's Snuff
Drown
Out.
in the Lock?
Snuff Out.
Snuff Out, that makes sense.
Okay, and we snuff the Archon here.
That also makes sense, because now we can cast the Arrington Giada. But
Yeah, and Waspleys cast the Snapcaster Mage on their turn, because this puts them to 1. So they actually, if Raccoon had a removal spell, Raccoon would be able to win the game if they hadn't cast Snapcaster. I guess they could have just cast Snapcaster on this turn, though.
March?
Yeah, it looks like March.
March for the Weeping Angel. All right, that's a good one. That's just it, right? Because we march the Weeping Angel, attack with Adeline in the 1/1, and Aaron Giada gets.
Yeah, and you can bounce Arrington Giada. Raccoon taking damage from Ancient Tomb here. I don't think you need to do that, but I mean, you're winning the game most likely. I guess Waspleys could have a different flash threat that isn't Arrington and Giada that could block, or it could have a flash threat like Ang. Or they could have a flash threat like Ang.
Through timing. So I guess through timing, and you have to hit Force of Negation.
Could be Solitude as well. If you hit Solitude, you're good.
Oh, yeah, because your card is Arrington Giada. So
this is exciting. This is a really big dig through time here. Waspleys needs to hit Force of Negation, Solitude. I think that's it. I think it's just Force and Solitude.
That's all I can think of.
Because you can't have Force of Will.
Force of Will doesn't do it. Daze doesn't do it. Snuff Out, obviously gone and doesn't do it. So the card that was in their hand is up by the Snapcaster Mage.
We know that if they hit either Solitude or Force of Negation, they are able to cast it as well, because they have Arrington Giada in hand. So they have both colors covered in terms of needing them for the free spell activation.
Yeah. I have to imagine that would be the card getting pitched, given the Caracas situation.
Yeah, and it's not clear that Waspleys has drawn either of those. It's possible they have, though, and they're considering their second card. I mean, the second card you take off this dig through time, even if you do hit your Solitude or your Force of Negation, is really, really, really critical. And specifically off of Force of Negation, because that's definitely a little worse. Like, you would prefer to Solitude this Adeline.
Yes. Although if you solitude the Adeline, then they Caracas it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, this Caracas is kind of a long-term problem for you if you're Waspleys. So then, do you think you take Force of Negation over Solitude? I mean, you would take Force.
So.
You would probably take Force and Solitude realistically,
Yeah,
because they can't attack with the Adeline if you have the Weeping Angel in play.
exactly. All right. They should be able to figure out, because like if one of these cards isn't Force or Solitude, the second card is irrelevant. We should be able to figure out a second card at some point. It's a big decision, but
Yeah, I mean, like if you let's say you have Force of Negation, Solitude, and Subtlety here, like, do you think you take Force of
I guess
Negation and Subtlety?
that'll
Because then you know your Weeping Angel gets to block for the next turn.
oh, Weeping Angel it resolved, so they have to have Solitude.
Wow, and yeah, they hit the Solitude. What that's so exciting. I mean, Waspleys is still in a pretty bad position here, as long as Raccoon makes sure to bounce their Adeline. Yeah.
They saw the Caracas.
Although Waspleys gets a draw step here to draw another removal spell. Because if Raccoon plays the Adeline out,
If
they have
the other card they took was another removal spell, then they're back in it. But they're still precarious. Like they're at 1 and they only have a Snapcaster Mage in play.
Yeah, so we're gonna need to see a removal spell here from Waspleys right now. Or
like
I guess multiple
a really good
blockers
creature,
to survive
like
the next turn. But
a Barrowgoyf would be a nice one here.
Ang could be good too. Like you just Ang the the creature pre-combat. Wow, Waspleys has the Swords of Plowshares, and now they're going to get in for 2 with the Snapcaster Mage. I mean, they're not in an amazing position, but Waspleys has actually turned the corner here in a big way.
Currently, the board is stable. They're it's very liable to change. Oh,
yeah, okay. Raccoon gets a redraw with a silent clearing here. Waiting for potential Bowmasters from Waspleys or another flash threat for drawing. Looks like Waspleys is going to cast Tishana's Tidebinder. Wow,
okay, that's relevant.
And
the draw.
This Snapcaster plus Tidebinder is 3 turns of attacks here for Waspleys. So if Waspleys can attack Raccoon down to 10, draw a card that either removes a Raccoon blocker or Raccoon doesn't draw a blocker, like Waspleys actually might win this game.
Yeah, this is crazy. Do you think they kept Swords to Plowshares or Tidebinder? It must have been Tidebinder, right? Because if Swords was in their dig through time, they would have slammed it like basically immediately.
Yeah.
Tidebinder's like kind of close, you know?
Yeah, the Tidebinder, I guess. No, Tidebinder doesn't really matter because if you don't have another removal spell, then it blocking the Caracas activation doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it also could have potentially stifled an Adeline trigger, but... And does it remove the abilities from Adeline?
It does. So that actually might have been the consideration as well. Adeline triggers, then you Tidebinder the trigger and remove its abilities. But then they just Caracas it back and they just get to replay it. Okay, so attack for 5 from Waspleys here and playing out
another creature.
1 mana Deathrite Shaman, I believe. Yep.
Yeah.
Do they have a green mana source in play? I don't think they do. Oh, but Raccoon doesn't play a creature. Wow.
No Trop, no Bayou. It doesn't look like they have one in their deck.
I think Waspleys is turning the corner here, Jared. I think it's happening. Raccoon drew Razorgrass Ambush. Okay, getting rid of the Tishana's Tidebinder, slowing the clock down.
That is helpful.
The Deathrite Shaman here is so relevant though. Like it now you get to basically double your clock here. And even if Raccoon draws blockers, you can still potentially win through the Deathrite. 1 mana flip card.
Cameo?
Must be Tameo.
Yeah, I see 0-3 and flying. That's a Tameo.
Not exactly the draw you want, but definitely not bad. Like, any board impacting presence is good for you. Looks like Raccoon drew a 1-drop, which is
Usher of the Fallen, which is
okay.
relevant because you can make 1/1s.
And Waspleys is exiling a card from Raccoon to take them down to 6.
Yeah.
Now Waspleys has a pretty interesting decision. Are they going to attack with Snapcaster Mage? Are they going to attack with Snapcaster and Tameo?
Tameo's in hand due to Caracas.
Oh, that's right. We've got Caracas in place. Okay, so do you think you attack with Snapcaster here? I have to imagine you don't. Like, you just start to ride out this Deathrite Shaman to victory, ideally? Because otherwise you have to block with your Deathrite if you don't draw a creature to block with. It is tempting to attack with Snapcaster, though.
Because, like, if you don't attack with Snapcaster, you're putting them to 4. You lose your Snapcaster. Then you put them to 2. Then you lose Deathrite Shaman. Oh, I guess Snapcaster trades. And then Deathrite Shaman eats the 1/1. I don't know.
Well, the 1/1 isn't attacking either, right? I guess...
No. I think I would attack, but
I think it's reasonable not to attack. Although I think you're supposed to play the Tameo just to lock the Caracas mana. Giver of Runes. Wow.
Okay. That's huge. So now, is that mental?
I think
misstep?
it's a mental misstep. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was a really big draw for
that was game. And now we're gonna exile something with Deathrite Shaman.
It wasn't exactly game right away, but now Waspleys gets to untap, attack with Snapcaster. Raccoon's obligated to block, and then Waspleys gets to exile a card on Raccoon's turn, and then on their turn exile another card to win the game. Yeah. So unless Raccoon draws exactly a removal spell here, I guess Waspleys is actually going to be taking it. Would you have thought winning this game was possible when Raccoon had Shadow Spear,
really,
Archon of Emeria, Adeline attacking with 5 creatures? Like there were so many points in this game where it felt like it was going to be trivial for Raccoon to turn the corner. But I mean, this is why you keep playing. Like, you never know what's going to happen here. I mean, if you look at it, Waspleys has 5 lands and has drawn all spells, and Raccoon's been drawing a bunch of lands in the middle of this.
Oh yeah, there's Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah, we have Swords, Mental Misstep. Okay, so Raccoon has to have a removal spell here, right now. Otherwise, Deathrite's going to untap, and looks like, we have to Get Lost.
Okay. Yep, that'll do.
The Tameo here relevant, though, because you get to use these map tokens to...
Caracas.
Well,
you can use one of them.
You can use one, because if you Tameo and then map token, they Caracas, but then you can replay Tameo and then map token to try to set up the top of your library. Wow. Raccoon at 2, Waspleys at 1. We know Waspleys has a Tameo in hand.
Raccoon playing off the top. Drew a crucial removal spell last turn.
Yeah, if Raccoon doesn't draw that Get Lost, they're just
drew stone perfect to come back from almost certain death.
I mean, this is why it matters to continue to play optimally, right? Like, you never know if you're going to hit this like 1%, 2% game. I don't know if I like just passing here from Waspleys. I guess it'll depend on what they have in their hand, but I think I would have used the map tokens. Waspleys draws a Mock Sapphire and passes the turn.
Oh, what's this? I'm trying to see if it has power and toughness.
It does have power and toughness.
Any amount of power will do. I can't tell what it is. Can you?
Samwise the Stout-Hearted, maybe?
Samwise the Stout-Hearted, it is. So It is a creature. We're shuffling something.
And I think Waspleys conceded. Wow.
So they
what an intense game.
Eat the Samwise. That's crazy.
With 4 cards in hand, I guess Waspleys just couldn't keep drawing out of it. Very, very well played from both sides, though. Lots of intense, heavy decisions. We knew that matchup was going to be really combat heavy and playing to the board was going to be relevant. So congratulations to Raccoon for taking it down. Very, very, very close and well played from Waspleys. Really great Magic there.
Yeah, that was a great match. Well played to both sides, and congratulations for Raccoon winning the weekly side of the bracket and advancing to the grand final.
Jared, the dig through time to hit the Solitude. Oh,
that was crazy. All right, we're gonna take another quick break before we get stuck into the finals here. We'll see you shortly. All right, welcome back for the grand finals of the Canadian Highlander 2025 Discord webcam year end. Once again, I'm Jer with my good buddy Trent.
Will the Asynchronous League take it down, or the weekly bracket? We've got Rigorn and Raccoon battling it out in the finals. I'm excited, Jer.
Me too. So this is a similar matchup for Rigorn to the last one they had. I would say Raccoon's deck slants a little bit more aggressive than the Boros Taxes deck. Probably a little less interaction. But given the fact that Rigorn is kind of light on creature interaction, it'll be an interesting matchup. A little bit more of a race, I would suspect. And it's also harder for Rigorn to kind of pick apart Raccoon's pressure just because there's more of it.
I mean, the 1-mana 2/1s are pretty relevant in this matchup too. Like just having a little bit of extra speed from Raccoon on the Death and Taxes could be the difference between winning a turn before they get to Time Vault, for example. So yeah, exactly. I'm really excited to see exactly how this matchup shapes up as well.
Awesome. Well, we've sort of set up the match. Let's see how it plays out and head down to the players when they're ready.
If you ask me, Jer, my money is on Mono White Death and Taxes, mostly because I want it to win versus Time Vault. Time Vault from
Time
my
Vault
perspective
is kind of the boogeyman of the
boogeyman, yeah.
format currently. If I was taking odds for the next points update, I would lay pretty significant odds that Time Vault will get pointed. I think it is very likely. But we'll see. Anything could happen. And I just hope we have a good match.
I'm kind of sad here, though, and maybe we'll see it, but the Harm's Way definitely not where you want to be in this matchup. So
no, Harm's Way not as good in this.
We didn't get it last.
Would have been amazing
match, so.
last round, but
looks like our players are just shuffling up here.
Yeah, and stuff like Shadow Spear also not ideal in this matchup.
Although, like we've talked about, Rigorn, teching for combo and blue decks has a bunch of cards that feel like misses. Grafdigger's Cage, Fluster Storm, Soul Guide Lantern, pretty awkward. Like
does basically nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, so they have a couple of their own cards that aren't
for sure. They very good. Stinkers on both sides.
Raccoon switching to a glass of water instead of another Coca-Cola. Pretty interesting drink choice. We'll have to look into that later, Jer. You can't see Jer, but he's not having any of it.
See what I have to put up with.
I mean, if you continue to come back to me here, Jer, are you really do you really have to put up with it, or do you want to put up with it? Maybe that's a question we'll have to come back to later. But our players have drawn their sevens here, and let's see if they keep. Rigorn is going to be on the play, being the highest seed. So, and I think Rigorn is keeping. It looks like it based on their body language.
Yep, I would tend to agree. I think both players probably keeping. Nope.
Yeah, Raccoon's still considering. It
Never
looks like
mind.
Raccoon's going to mulligan. I mean, we'll probably see Death and Taxes mulligan a little more than Bant Time Vault in this matchup. Like, what Bant Time Vault asks of you, especially on when you're on the draw from the Death and Taxes side, like you were talking about earlier, Jer, it's a lot more specific. Bant Time Vault can keep hands that are a little less specific and a little more malleable and shapeable. But since you don't have any card selection and Death and Taxes or really low amounts of it anyways, you kind of just have to make sure that your seven's like reasonable enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Got
it
the
looks like
thumbs up.
Raccoon
Keeping this one.
snaps.
Yeah, that was a quick one. Caracas again. I think Rigorn has had Caracas in every game so far. We've seen them play.
Wow, and they played Mana Vault into Tezzeret Cruel Captain.
Lord.
The Cruel Captain is definitely another reason that Time Vault has gotten a lot better over the course of the last year. Getting to untap the Mana Vault here. And Raccoon's already on the back foot. 1 mana into Kithian, Hero of Akros. I mean, this is kind
One
of
of
the best
these
you can hope
boards
for if
is
you don't
not
have
like
a Mox
the other.
draw.
I mean, not into Caracas, but
Oh yeah, I guess the Caracas bouncing your Kithian, definitely a big deal here. Rigorn playing a Misty Rainforest.
Rigorn's just feels like it's got years. He's got years to set up and do whatever he wants.
Yeah, Tezzeret
Or
also being at
just
4.
blazingly fast, and he has a bajillion mana.
Although notably doesn't have double blue, so can't be casting things like Tezzeret or Quantum Riddler here, or Urza, Wan Chitong, etc. Can't cast Uro.
So
So
notably, if he has like a single blue tutor, like a Fabricate or a Scour from Scrap, the game's just over.
would he get to win this turn? I guess he'd get to win next turn.
Next turn.
Yeah, just shy on mana.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, Rigorn can just minus this Tezzeret.
Oh no, you could win this turn because then you could get Time Vault, untap it with Tezzeret, right?
I guess you'd have to have exactly Trinket Mage because you need the tutor to be 3 mana.
Fabricate, yeah.
Or Fabricate, yeah. Fabricate.
5 mana.
Okay.
1 floating.
Wow, Shorikai the
Right.
Genesis engine.
Pretty good.
I mean, if you're Raikou, like you're dead to any tutor from Time Vault, and you're also really behind when it comes to the Shorikai. I like Shorikai in the Time Vault deck a lot. I think this card is really cool. Whether or not it's optimal, who knows? I haven't played the deck enough to know that, but I think it's a really sweet card. Like, look at this, so much board presence. And I think we've also seen Rigorn preferring playing to the board in these types of matchups as well. Discarding Trinket Mage off of the Shorikai trigger and then untapping Mana Vault with the Tezzeret and passing the turn. All right, so Raccoon's got a 2/1 and a Plains. Urza Saga from Raccoon. What are you thinking, Jer?
I think Raccoon's in a tough spot.
Looks like we've got a Fateful Absence here to get rid of the Tezzeret. I think that's a good start
Pretty
for Raccoon
big.
here.
Yeah, that feels good.
Like, Shorikai is definitely not unbeatable from your perspective on Death and Taxes. Like, next turn, you can
No.
very easily play something that kills the Shorikai, and then you're like kind of right back in it. Also, getting rid of the Mana Vault untapper is a big deal too.
Yeah.
Like, it's possible Rigorn doesn't have a third land here, and this Mana Vault actually being a one-shot mana source is pretty relevant. So yeah, Fateful Absence kills the Tezzeret, and then Kithian stays back because Rigorn has that 1/1 off the Shorikai, so Rigorn now drew a card. Playing a Ancient Den, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's the weird Ancient Den art.
And then activating Shorikai, getting a second pilot, drawing 2, discarding. Mental misstep. That's playing out a Chrome Mox here from Regorn, getting rid of Jataxian Probe.
Okay.
So this is the second blue source that Regorn potentially needs to cast one of these larger blue spells.
Yeah. Or are we getting frisky with the pilot?
I mean, I think you might as well at least attack for one.
Just passing. Maybe
Fair
valuing keeping the pilot around to try to eventually fire up this this Shurikai, you know?
Bash in for 8.
Doesn't
We're
seem
back to
the
Raikkoon.
worst.
Raikkoon untaps, draws, puts a counter on Saga, plays a third land here, a Plains, and passes the
Just
turn.
Passes back. So he's got to have like a March or a Cathar Commando or something here, right?
I think if you have March or Cathar Commando, though, you're casting it right away, so Regorn doesn't get another Shurikai draw. I think if you're Regorn, you're really happy to see Raikkoon just play.
Are we just planning to make a dingus? Like a
make a construct? Yeah, maybe.
Because that seems so mopey.
Okay, Regorn's casting Sabine's Reclamation off of Mana Vault and Ancient Den, so floating one colorless here.
This Tezzeret.
Yeah. Yeah, Tezzeret comes back into play. We're floating a colorless still here. Tezzeret's going to untap or come in with 4 counters, and it hasn't actually been activated yet.
Yeah, we're going to activate the Shurikai.
Yeah, using, I assume, the colorless mana that's floating.
Yeah.
The Regorn hasn't removed the colorless mana from their battlefield yet, so we'll have to make sure that that happens.
Goes away at some point.
Great. So now Regorn drew 2 off the Shurikai, just deciding what to discard here. Portable Hole seems pretty reasonable.
Tapping Mana Vault.
Yeah, so activating Tezzeret to untap Mana Vault.
Spooky.
Yeah, pretty scary because you think you would untap the Shurikai, but maybe Regorn values just having the Mana Vault, access to the Mana Vault mana. And looks like
since they're getting lose focused.
Yeah, so even Mind Sensor end step for Regorn, yeah, getting loose focused here. Now Raikkoon goes to draw step, draws a card, has to decide what to do with this Urza Saga. Looks like just gonna tap it for mana and go get a one drop. What do you get here, Jer?
Probably Soul Ring.
Yeah, you probably need it to be able to cast multiple spells to get back into this game.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we have a removal spell available. Could also get Esper Sentinel, I guess, but
I don't think you can get Esper Sentinel, right?
Does it say non-creature?
I think it says like colorless specifically for Urza Saga. Yeah, 0 or 1 colorless.
Okay.
I think.
No, it just says artifact card.
Oh, 0 or 1. Huh. I didn't know you could get Esper Sentinel. That's good to know.
Yeah. I know what I'm talking about.
I should never have doubted you.
Never mind. It does say 0 or 1 with the colorless.
I should never have doubted me.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't say mana cost. It doesn't say mana value 0 or 1. It says mana cost 0 or 1 colorless.
I mean, getting Soul Ring here makes sense from Raikkoon's perspective, though.
Yeah. What ended up in the graveyard?
Not sure.
Oh, Wasteland, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we got Wasteland on the Caracas.
Nice. And then we're playing out Athalia.
Then Athalia. Then
it's the 2-mana 2/2 flying artifacts under tapped. Spider Woman Stunning Savior.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a start for Raikkoon. I mean, Regorn is still just activating Shurikai every turn, has a Tezzeret, like
still feels like not enough, but we'll see. 3.
Mana Vault being tapped and then untapped with Tezzeret. Very scary again.
6. 7.
7 mana for Regorn. Looks like they're recasting
back Savine's
Reclamation. Yeah, what are we targeting here?
Caracas and maybe a fetch land.
Portable Hull and Caracas. So
Okay, that makes sense.
Portable Hull comes in. I guess you probably get rid of Thalia here.
Yeah,
Notably, Portable Hull's tapped, which actually might be relevant if Regorn has War of Invention.
could be relevant. Yes, if it becomes relevant, we'll make
Yeah,
sure.
well, yeah, it's quite often not going to be relevant.
Portable will take in the Spider Woman. Deciding
Yeah, that
we
makes
have
sense.
enough mana where we're going. Also, Caracas deals with Thalia pretty cleanly.
And you can actually block Thalia now with your pilots and your Shorikai if your Shorikai is untapped. So, like, even the attacking from Thalia doesn't matter. Like, it's possible this Thalia might be better for you.
Diamond.
And Regorn using one of the leftover mana to cast a Mox Diamond, paying for the Thalia, getting rid of a Scalding Tarn.
Playing a Wooded Foothills. So we have mana galore, not activating Shorikai.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I think the Thalia is actually better for
1,
Regorn.
2, 3, 4, 5.
You have so much more mana than Raccoon.
Yeah, but just Raccoon has 50 creatures and 30 lands. So literally only 20% of their deck is affected, whereas Regorn has 9 creatures and 33 lands. So more than 50% of their deck is affected.
A 3-mana card from Raccoon here looks like
a Johnny, apparently.
Oh, it's 2 mana, I see. So they're floating a Soul Ring mana, so it's a Johnny, a Coddle Pariah, and then Ocelot Pride. We still got a mana floating from the Soul Ring.
Yeah.
Attacking with the Thalia. I mean, you just get to fire up the Shorikai engine and block, right?
Yeah, that's terrifying. Attacking Tez. Yeah.
You know what? It's possible. I've done this before where Raccoon's like, I'm in such a bad position, I need my opponent to miss that they can activate to block with Shorikai.
Yep.
Like, I've definitely made plays like that before. Gotta play your out. Sometimes your out is that your opponent misses something, right?
Definitely.
I mean, you and I have won many games against each other doing that to each other. I can think of one particular game where you beat me with Reset High Tide because I mistimed the casting of a spell and you were able to Snapcaster a High Tide in response.
Yep.
Looks like Regorn, yeah, drew off the Shorikai and discarded Uro. Wow. Discarding Uro off of a Shorikai.
Nice.
So
how's Caracas?
Yeah, it looks like Raccoon is scooping it up. I think it's fair to scoop it up after you look at the board and you go, okay, now I have to beat a Shorikai and an Uro and a Tezzeret.
Like,
and
turn 1 land, Mana Vault, Tezzeret. Pretty tough to come back from when you're sitting across from that on the draw.
Definitely not a bad one. Regorn takes game 1 of the grand finals. Reminder that this is a best of 3, so Raccoon's on the back foot here.
Although gets to be on the play this match, and I think that matters a lot. Because that was a well above average draw from Regorn. Anytime they have like a quick Academy or Mana Vault, it almost feels like you're playing against a different deck.
Yeah, definitely. Looking back at it, I actually like that attack from Raccoon with the Thalia. You're so far behind. Just assume that for some reason Regorn's gonna miss or like block in a bad way. Like, you got to play to your outs. You're like you're almost 100% dead there at that point, right? Like, you might as well just go for it. Even if they missed the potential pilot text or the crewing of the Shorikai, I don't even know if that matters. I think you still maybe make that attack.
Yeah. Like, even if you know the possible play you could make, you decide that's the only way you can win.
You got to grasp at straws at some point, right? Like,
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I think Mana Vault, this is why Mana Vault is still a point. Yeah. This type of stuff is like, in the decks where Mana Vault can do this type of stuff, it feels like more than a point. And it obviously is not more than a point in a lot of archetypes. But in like this one or any Academy style deck, Mana Vault overperforms. It feels so good. Yes. Okay, looks like Regorn's still shuffling. Raccoon drew a 7, but immediately shifts it back.
That's not where you want to be.
Yeah, definitely not where you want to be, although Raccoon being on the play hopefully feels a little better.
Slick Rigorn's keeping.
Yeah, based on body language, that looks to be the case. All right, let's hope that Raccoon can draw a good 6, and maybe we can get a nice game 3 going here.
Looks like no lands.
Yep. Okay, so Raccoon's just showing the no lander and going to 5 here.
Yeah,
if you're gonna win on 5,
good,
you want to be on the play for sure.
you're starting to get limited at this point. Because now any interaction Rhaegorn has is just amplified because of the lack of resources that Raccoon has.
Yeah, and unfortunately, one of the things that Mono White doesn't have that Boros has like random cards that end the game extremely fast. Things like Gut, Bombardiers, right? You don't really have that type of stuff in Mono White. You're like
not as much.
Yeah, your time to kill is definitely not as fast.
The stuff we're playing in those slots are like Palace Jailer.
Although this is the start you want if you're going down to 5 and you need to end the game quick. Yeah, Descendant of Storms, like
1 mana, 2/1.
Yeah, let's just start getting them dead. So yeah, Raccoon plays Plains, 1 mana, 2/1, passes the turn. Rhaegorn plays a Polluted Delta. Casting Chrome Mox.
Savine's Reclamation under it.
And casting a Soul Guide Lantern.
Okay.
And a Mox Opal.
Good lord.
A lot of mana. This is not what you want to see if you're Raccoon.
No.
All right, let's see what Raccoon has on turn 2. This is going to be extremely critical play here. Plays a Plains, attacks for 2.
And
is creating a 1/1. You have got to be thrilled if you are Rhaegorn to see Raccoon making a 1/1 here for 2 mana.
Yeah, although when you go to 5 cards, it's possible you put back a 2-drop to keep a really like powerful 3-drop, knowing that your 1-drop is Descendant of Storms. So it's possible we could have like a Clarion Conqueror or something like that that could be really impactful, which is sort of what Raccoon needs at this point.
All right, Raccoon passes the turn here. Rhaegorn's going to fetch end step.
Almost definitely getting yield surveil.
Yeah, you could get surveil. I guess you're probably not wanting to sacrifice the Soul Guide Lantern right now because of your Mox Opal.
Yeah, exactly. You just want the artifact in play.
Yeah, getting Hedgemaze makes a lot of sense here. You have white under your Chrome Mox and you have Mox Opal active, so you have access to double blue or double white if you need it. Double green, I suppose. Not common that this deck needs double green, though. Basically, Uro and Brightglass Gearhulk. Might be real. I mean, if Rhaegorn just plays land Brightglass Gearhulk, like, what do you do if you're Raccoon, right? Like, how do you really come back from that? Like, if you kill the Gearhulk, they just have more coming down the pipeline. I think Raccoon needs to hope that Rhaegorn's hand is mostly random sculpting mechanisms or dead cards like Grafdigger's Cage, basically.
Yeah, you're hoping they like kept based on the really fast start and not based on the fact that they have the ability to assemble the combo quickly.
Looks like Rhaegorn has a Transmute artifact in hand. It's going to play a Beseju Who Endures as a land. And Binda Savannah, notably from the Hedge Maze. So probably not Landlight. Plays a Teferi Time Raveler. Yeah, Teferi bouncing the 2-1, but making the 1-1 off of.
It's not
I mean,
that bad for
that's actually
Raikkonen.
pretty good for Raikkonen, all things considered. Like, it's obviously
Yeah.
not ideal, but I mean, now you get to kill this Teferi,
Yeah.
play a land, and if you have an impactful 3-drop, Raikkonen might actually be in this game still.
Yeah, like if we have exactly Clarion Conqueror. No, that's
White
WPA.
Plume. Wow. White Plume actually really good here. Probably one of the best.
Notably, the land is Strip Mine as well.
Yeah, that's really relevant too, because Raikonen's going to get a planes here, and then even if Rigorn tries to go off with a bunch of Academy mana, it's going to be a one-shot because Raikonen's going to be able to Strip Mine it. And this also means that Rigorn can't play for a longer Urza Saga game that would be challenging for Raikkonen to potentially deal with. So yeah, Strip Mine being the third land actually super relevant. Good call out here. So Raikkonen grabs the planes.
The clock is established.
And looks like Rigorn has Enlightened Tutor. I mean, Rigorn could just win the game right here, right now.
Well, let's see. We know they have Transmute Artifact.
Yeah, so if they get
short, yeah, they can just win. They go get Time Vault. They play Time Vault using Beseiju and Chrome Mox, and then they can. Oh no, they're short 1 mana. So if they have a land in their hand, any land.
Well, and they got rid of Savannah off of the Hedge Maze, so I think they probably do have a land in their hand. Although if they have a land in their hand, they might not have played Beseiju as their second land, right?
Yeah. Who knows?
And we know they can't draw land, so it has to be a land in hand. Yeah. So Rigorn this might be the last turn of the game, everyone. Rigorn might be taking it with Time Vault here. Time Vault goes on top. Rigorn on taps. Draws Time Vault. Does Rigorn have the land?
We're playing. Oh,
Rigorn's tapping Hedge Maze and Chrome Mox for Time Vault. Leads me to believe doesn't have the
where it's land. A blue land.
Oh, it is a blue land. Wow, Rigorn has it. Okay, so as long as Rigorn sees the line, which we have to assume that they're going to,
Transmute
is going
to be your
untaps. 2025 Canadian Highlander Webcam Discord year-end champion. Transmute Artifact.
Yep.
Get rid of my Soul Guide Lantern. Find a key effect. Wow. Bant Time Vault, everyone.
Pretty good.
And that's GG. Well played to both players, but unfortunately for Raikkonen, the person that takes your 2025 Canadian Highlander Webcam year-end is Rigorn, the Bant Time Vault player themselves.
Yeah. Just clearly a master of the archetype. I will say they drew exceptionally well, especially in the finals.
Yes. I mean, it happens. Sometimes you draw really well. Like,
and I mean, to win these events, you gotta be both lucky and good.
Definitely. Congratulations to Rigorn. Very well played. Very well drawn. Congratulations to all of our players for playing a great season, giving us a bunch of great games of Magic. We really enjoyed commentating here. So thanks for having us as well. We have a couple things we want to say before we end the stream, so I'll pass it back over to Jared to start us off.
Yeah. So yeah, first off, congrats to Rigorn. Well played to all the competitors. Some really cool matches. Bant Time Vault showing it's got some speed as well as resiliency. Really cool to see. That was an insane game 2 in the Wasp-Please versus Raikkonen matchup. Felt like Wasp-Please was down and out and couldn't win. Then it felt like Wasp-Please couldn't lose, and then
Raikkonen. Oh, that was my game. That was my game of the stream, Chair.
It was for sure
that
game
takes
of the
through
day.
time, no mana, like has to hit Solitude or Fawn. Like so great. What a fantastic game.
And just to recap, the Discord offers multiple ways to play. You can play via webcam, cockatrice, or on MTGO. They have asyncs, they have weeklies, and lots of people willing to help out if you have any questions. So if you're looking to get into the format, definitely check out the Discord. And if you're looking to play the format, definitely try the Discord events. They're well ran and a lot of fun. If you're looking to find more of Trent and I, and also Liam, you can check us out at LJTMTG on most social media, including YouTube, which is where all our videos and stuff are. We also have a Twitch channel. We also are on Spotify. Yeah, check us out too. We make Highlander content and lots of it. So
we're your one-stop shop for anything Highlander related.
Yeah. With that, I think we'll wrap things up. Thanks a lot for commentating with me, Trent. Thanks a lot for Cyclops behind the scenes doing tons of work, organizing this event, wrangling commentators, players, other TOs. Shout out to the other TOs. Goif, I know, was doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Our judge Hudra, big ups. It's always amazing to have a judge for these events. It's always, I know I'm always kind of sketched out as a player when I'm playing like a high stakes event, whether it's for glory or prizes, and there's no judge, and it's like, But so it's always an ease of mind thing for both players and TO when there's a dedicated judge. So big shout out to them for volunteering. Everyone involved with this, all volunteers. So
yeah, we might be missing some people, but we appreciate all of you. And it's, from our perspective, it's been a pretty seamless experience to come and commentate. And we hope that you really enjoyed the show. And thanks for commentating with me as well, Jer. I know sometimes you have to deal with my antics, but I'm glad that you're still willing to do so after the 12 or 14 years of friendship. So hopefully we'll be commentating again together in the future.
Definitely. All right, with that, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next year maybe.